8686, the Federal Aviation Administration ordered discount carrier Pro Air thing back up. Plus, they lift about, what do you say, $30,000 worth of camera equipment in there. So, yeah, take it down. Let's sell the cameras. Anyway, 1-800-449-8686, the Federal Aviation Administration ordered discount carrier Pro Air. Oh, my God, not that. To halt all flights? Well, that looks like my trip to Nepal's off. Pro Air? Well, enough people fly Pro Air beginning today because of serious aircraft safety problems that this 3-year-old airline failed to perform scheduled engine maintenance, failed to repair dents, did not address other safety concerns. Also, Boeing 737 jets have been questioned, I think, by the FAA in terms of rudder design. And as the, there's never really an end to the traveling season because it's either the summer traveling season or the Thanksgiving or the holiday or the Christmas or et cetera, et cetera. From Santa Monica Airport, we have on the line with us, we're going to be talking here in just a second to Art Greigo. And Art is okay, hold on for a minute because I got no... All right, there he is. Art, are you with us, man?
Yes, Phil, right here.
Okay, I'm sorry, because I didn't think we had you. Art, you've been flying for how long?
Phil, I've been flying commercially for the last 15 years, mostly private planes.
Now, you brought this 737 story to my attention. The 737 having, the Boeing 737 having some design problems?
Well, so for 12 years, I've written letters to Boeing and to the FAA about design problems on the 737. This situation today from the Federal Aviation Administration having to do with Pro Air is just one problem I think the 737 has.
What specifically?
Well, first off, and this is very basic, and again, 12 years worth of letters, 12 years worth of phone calls, and talking to so many other people. They're talking about a rudder design problem on the 737. I think any school child understands that a rudder is something that belongs primarily on a boat. And if you look at any picture, if you look at any photograph of any seagoing craft, you see that it has a rudder. An airplane you don't think of as something that has a rudder. And for them to put one on a 737, I think, in my opinion, is murderous and can murder millions of air travelers. And
all right, so the first design problem would be the existence of a rudder?
That is correct.
Because I'm not specifically clear on that. Why?
Have you ever been on a boat? I'm sure you have. Most of us have.
Yeah, I grew up around boats.
Then you know that, first it's a sailboat, so I know you're a sailor, right?
Yeah, my father had a sailboat.
All right, that has a rudder that's attached to a tiller. And
right, you pull the tiller one way and the boat goes one way or the other way.
Correct. That's something that a boat has, not an airplane. And I think that the individual who put a rudder on an airplane should be indicted for cold-blooded murder and for the slaughter of billions. I think that that's gone. Now, I think also the other thing is that thousands of people have died over the years because of rudder design, and so much of that is a design problem. I also think it's time for us to look at the possibility that...
All right, well, to interrupt for a moment here, Art.
Go ahead.
The fact that airplanes have rudders is a design problem because rudders should only be on boats.
That's correct. If you look at boats, most boats have rudders. Some have props, but you do need rudders. And I think this is...
Was this a design problem from the beginning, or...?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't do it. And that's to go along with wings. We've never needed wings on aircraft. Now, this is something a little bit more controversial because the aircraft, the highest level of air travel that we've achieved, obviously, Phil, is space travel.
Correct.
All right, it's space travel, whether it be the lunar landing, whether it be the Mars landing, or whether it be space station construction and orbiting exploration, we've never needed wings on any aircraft. And yet we have insisted on putting them on aircraft that we fly.
Well, what about the space shuttle?
That again, is a design problem. And I predict because the space shuttle has wings, we're going to see the horrible death of the shuttle crew very soon. And
all right, hold on, man, because you're throwing a whole lot of stuff at us here. You're saying that rudders belong on boats, and that it is a basic design problem that a 737 has a rudder.
that is correct, and a school child can tell you that. 12 years worth of writing letters to Boeing and the FAA. And
But the more important, and I think the more controversial of your suggestions, is that aircraft should not have wings. And I think anybody...
so we do not need wings.
No, I hear what you're saying. We've been able to get into space without winged aircraft. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And we have been able to land on the moon, and we have used robot ships to land on Mars, and we have never done it with a fixed wing or a double wing or a single wing aircraft. We have landed on the moon and on Mars with vehicles that have anything but wings.
And I mentioned the space shuttle, and you say that's going to...
Wings are for birds, rudders are for boats, and you mentioned the space shuttle, Phil. I think that is an accident waiting to happen.
All right, we're talking with Art Greigo, who has spent a few years trying to get design problems corrected on the 737. Now, they're grounding the jets of Pro Air today because of serious safety problems. They also decided that 3 Boeing 737 jets, the 3 that they operate, should be grounded, and there was some question as to the rudder design, and that's what they're talking about, that the 737's rudder design...
Well, I go a step further, though. I don't think it should have a rudder at all. And the idiots, I mean the absolute idiots, that are trying to tell me and other pilots that, well, we've got a rudder design problem, I have said to them, and I continue to say to them, it is a rudder problem, the fact that it's on the airplane in the first place, okay? It's not a design problem. Planes don't have rudders. If my daughter knows that. When she was in the I tell you how I got the idea. My daughter was in the bathtub. Justin, hold on for a minute, Phil. I'm in the hangar. And
You're at Santa Monica Airport.
yes, I am. My daughter was in the bathtub about 12 years ago, 13 years ago. We just had Casey, and she was pushing around a little boat with a rudder on it. And that's what I said to my wife, that obviously it's the problem with the 737. It's got a rudder. It's not a boat. And
All right, getting back to the wing situation. Airplanes should not have wings.
we don't need wings on airplanes. We have proven that we can travel with aircraft that have no wings. We've done that with the Mercury rocket. We've done that with the Redstone. We've done that with the Saturn. We have done that with the landers that I previously mentioned. Why do we have wings on airplanes? All they do is create serious instability. The Wright brothers were here, but we have, the Wright brothers were here. We're here. We would have had motors and engines, but wings and rudders are killing us. And you look at the rockets we use, the very rocket that puts the space shuttle into space doesn't have wings on it. That's what I'm talking about. And so a lot of this...
All right, what were you saying about the Wright brothers?
I'm saying that the Wright brothers needed them to get into the air, but we don't need them any longer.
So we needed them to get into the air, and...
That's correct, and I can only tell you, speak for a lot of pilots. So
Hold on for a minute. We needed them to begin to learn how to fly, but we don't need them anymore.
No, we do not. No, we do not.
Okay.
And I think I speak for a lot of pilots, probably most pilots and aviators, when I tell you that rudders and wings are probably the 2 things we ought to look at getting rid of if we hope to save any amount of human life in the air. And I will tell you something else, Phil. I lost a very dear friend a few years ago. It was a beautiful Sunday morning. I'll never forget. It was October the 12th. The year was 1997. And I had arisen from bed. I was reading the sports page. And I found out that a guy that we all knew had died. A guy by the name of John Dusseldorf. Maybe you knew him as Johnny D. I knew him as John Denver. He died on October 12th, 1997, because he was flying in something with not only a wing, but a rudder, and it had propellers. And I will tell you, that's what murdered my friend John Denver.
But wait. That was a plane that he had put together himself. Some people...
What murdered John Denver was the fact that that plane had wings and a rudder and a propeller.
Yeah, but wasn't the plane substandard?
Yes, it was substandard because of having a propeller and wings. If there were no wings on that airplane, Johnny D would be alive today. And
Hold on for a minute. Art Greigo is with us from the airport. He is a professional pilot. And he proposes that the main problem with the 737 is that it has a rudder. Rudders should only be on boats. We're all familiar with the fact that boats have rudders, but do aircraft need them? He also is proposing that we no longer need wings on airplanes because we are achieving space travel in vehicles without wings. And now he's saying that John Denver died because his plane also had a propeller, which is a dangerous, I guess, according to Mr. Griego. We'll be back with Art Greigo. It's the Phil Hendry Show at 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show. And we're talking with Art Greigo, who's a private pilot. We're talking about the problems with the 737. There was some rudder design problem that the FAA pointed out. One of the airlines, Pro Air, has had its flights halted because there's a problem with the 737 there. They failed to perform scheduled engine maintenance. And I don't know whether the 737 specifically has a problem, Art, or whether you're saying that all aircraft do as long as they use rudders.
I believe so, Phil, because I think that the rudders are what's killing the human beings up there, and wings.
And you mentioned propellers.
That is correct. The propeller is probably the single most dangerous, the single most dangerous aspect of aircraft is propeller. A propeller can cut a man in half. A propeller, you can lose your arms, you can lose your limbs to a propeller. It absolutely boggles my mind that anybody would want to have wings, a propeller, or a rudder on an aircraft.
All right, let me go to West Palm Beach on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hello there.
Yes, sir. Hi.
Yes, I've been listening to the discussion by the other gentleman about...
Yes, you're on with Art Greigo?
Yes, hello, sir.
Yes, sir. I've been listening to the discussion with a fellow who thinks that airplanes shouldn't have wings or a rudder.
Yes, sir, that's me, sir.
Okay. Well, I've been a pilot and a flight instructor for the last 45 years or so.
Yes, sir.
And don't quite understand what you're suggesting as an alternative.
I'm saying right now we have the alternative because we have achieved the pinnacle of air travel, which is space flight, in aircraft that does not have a wing, does not have propellers, simply can, is able to achieve locomotion through our airspace.
Well, that's done by changing thrust. And
exactly.
that thrust will allow that thing to kind of take off like a rocket.
You're a pilot, though, sir, and you know as well as I do that when I look out and I see wings on the side of an airplane, I am in complete and utter fear till I land.
Well, what would you suggest an alternative for medium-sized and light aircraft to allow them to fly in our atmosphere?
That's a good question. What?
Well, I think, first of all, Phil, we have to change thrust ratios. I believe we need to develop power ratio and engine and pure horsepower to begin to propel these craft at speeds that are going to, A, make air travel a much more sensible way of traveling in terms of time spent traveling, and B, make it a safer flight. So if we can get rid of propellers and put some kind of rocket style or land rocket engine on private planes.
All right, so what you're proposing is let's take a private plane, get the propeller off of it, put a rocket engine into it, and take the wings off of it.
Well, I can tell propellers are dangerous. That's why we yell clear out of the window before we power up, so people know the prop is about to start spinning and could cut a man's head clean off.
Well, the man is right. Propellers are dangerous, but rockets are dangerous,
too. Do you yell clear? Do you yell clear when you're starting up a prop?
Oh, I certainly do, and not only do I...
You're GD right, my friend. I do the same thing.
Not only do I yell clear, but I look very carefully to make sure there's nobody there.
Right,
but I can see in front of my airplane and make sure the propeller is clear. If we're using rockets behind the airplane, it's a lot harder to determine that there's nobody standing behind my rocket-assisted takeoff.
Well, you can get out and look and then get back in. But what I would suggest, respectfully, is if you can see a man's head fly off. Can you please Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
I'm 65.
God bless you and the great men who have flown. Are you all right?
Am I alive?
I know you're alive, sir. Are you all right?
I'm okay,
I
think.
If you're doing okay.
I think somebody else would have to make that decision, but
I think you're doing fine.
So I'm all right.
Okay. Do you do dental...
what are you asking him?
If his teeth are your own, or is it a bridge?
Do I own a bridge? No, I own an airplane, and I'm a flight instructor. I've taught a whole bunch of people how to fly through the years.
Right. Do you have a bridge in your mouth right now, I guess is what I was asking.
No, I don't have a bridge in my mouth.
Forgive me, I was having a hard time.
Well, I don't know what that has to do with anything.
I just want to determine that.
All right, sir. Well, thank you very much for your expertise. We do appreciate that. In West Palm Beach?
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
All right, thank you. 1-800-449-8686. Here is Mission Viejo on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Did you see the Indiana Jones movie when that German guy walked into that prop? I think you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, that was gruesome.
You better believe it. You don't want to just take a stroll into a prop.
All right, here is Mission Viejo. Hello.
Hello there.
Hi.
I've been listening to Art Greigo, and I couldn't disagree with him more. I've been in aviation over 50 years now. And
then you're willing to make the statement that airplanes need wings?
They definitely need wings, and they need a rudder. And
better you than me, brother, because I can tell you they're unnecessary.
Well, they absolutely are necessary. First of all, you need a rudder on an airplane.
Why do you need wings?
Well, you need wings.
You're proposing, Art, that we don't need wings or a propeller or rudders on it.
That's correct. I'm asking the gentleman point blank. Tell me why we need wings on an airplane.
Well, we need wings for a myriad of reasons. On a large transport aircraft, we need wings to keep the power plant out away from the fuselage.
All right, if that's true, why did John Denver's plane crash?
Well, wait a minute, that's a different issue. Let me
get
through explaining why we need the wings.
John Denver's plane had wings. Am I correct?
John Denver's airplane had nothing to do with that. His problem was with a fuel selector valve. He couldn't reach it. It was behind his left shoulder.
There you go. So even though he had wings, even though he had a propeller, even though he had a rudder, he crashed.
Well, wait a minute. The man's saying it had nothing to do with the wings.
But he had wings.
The wings. The reason John Denver crashed, if you want to isolate it to a particular reason, first of all, John Denver shouldn't have been flying. He shouldn't have been flying because his license was revoked by the FAA.
What about
he
Buddy
shouldn't have
Holly?
been the airplane to begin with. Secondly,
what about Patsy Cline? Her plane had wings.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? John Kennedy Jr.'s plane had wings. You see?
I'd like to hear from the man. You're interrupting a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The wings also is a practical place to store fuel. In other words, you wouldn't have
put that in a can behind the seat. What do you? I don't get what you're saying.
I'm talking about 747. The wing is a fuel tank.
Well, why couldn't you put that behind the pilot's seat?
Behind the pilot's seat?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about 250,000 pounds of fuel in there. You're not going to put it behind the pilot's seat.
You can't get that in a can.
You can't get that.
I'm not a commercial pilot. I don't know.
No, you can't put that in a can behind the pilot's seat.
No, you're looking at an airplane that has a range of.
So you believe we need propellers?
5,000-6,000 hours. Well, you need a thrust device. If it's not a propeller, a fan jet is essentially a jet engine with a high-speed propeller on top of it.
All right,
it's not financially feasible to put rocket engines in commercial airplanes.
Okay, that's two opinions. We need wings, a rudder, and a propeller. Let me ask the question before you do, Art.
What's that?
Do you think we need gasoline for these airplanes, sir?
Oh, don't be stupid, Phil.
Well, I mean, what you're saying sounds about as ridiculous. Do we need wings? Thank you very much, sir, for your call. 1-800-449-8686. Art Greigo is with us. He believes that wings, propellers, and whatever the other thing was, it's killing people on The Phil Hendry Show. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show. With the controversy around 737s being grounded from Pro Air today and some question about rudder design, we have a pilot on the line with us, Art Greigo. He's in Santa Monica. He's talking to us about the possibility that the basic design of aircraft itself is wrong. And we're talking about the... Art, you could just restate what you were saying?
yeah. So what I'm basically saying is that we have no need for wings, propellers, or we don't have.
Can you hear me?
No, I'm having a difficult time hearing you, Phil.
Okay, you were saying that that we have no need.
Right, we have no need for wings, propellers, or rudders. And
well, you got a lot of pilots who think that they need wings.
You don't. You don't need wings. And I'll tell you something. If you want to see more people die, then put wings on airplanes. Now, I'm at Santa Monica Airport. One of the reasons I can't hear you, Phil, is I was inside the hangar. I rolled my Cessna 172 out, and I had it on the runway, and I had them take the wings off and the propeller and the rudder. And I'm going to try to, I'll get airborne here in a few minutes and tell you.
Wait a minute. You took the wings, the propeller, and the rudder off of your craft.
That's correct.
And you think you're going to get up in the air?
I know I'm going to get up in the air. And I know I'm going to live. And for the first time, I will be flying. I will be flying with the knowledge that I'm going to live. Because as much as I love to fly, every time I take off in an aircraft, I fear death more than anything. I can feel death's cold breath on my neck. But because I've removed the wings, the prop, and the rudder from my airplane, I know I'm going to live.
All right, let's go to Oregon on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yes. My name's Dave Saunders.
How you doing, Dave? Art Greigo here, Santa Monica, California.
I taught aeronautics for many years. You cannot take an airplane up in the air without wings.
I disagree.
You can't get any lift. How are you going to get lift?
Well, I'll tell you how you get lift. How do we get to the moon? We didn't have wings on that.
Well, yeah, but we were going straight up. We weren't going on a level flight.
Well, I propose that we begin to... Excuse me, I'm having...
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I just had car phone trouble. I propose that we begin taking off straight up.
Then what are you going
Dave,
to do?
Do you hear me, Dave?
I hear you.
I think we should start taking off straight up.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, there you go.
Then how are you going to level that plane off and stay in level flight?
You begin to decelerate. The plane begins to level off.
It won't level off without wings.
Certainly it'll level off.
It will not level off without wings.
How do you know? Have you ever taken off straight
up?
Yes. You've taken off straight up in the air. No, you haven't.
I'm not going to go straight up in the air.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right now. And I feel so confident.
Wait a minute. Now, you've taken the wings off your Cessna. And
yes, I have.
All right, you're at Santa Monica Airport right now?
Yes, I am.
All right, and you've taken the wings off and the propeller and the rudder.
That is correct. And I have to
know anything. He doesn't know anything about aeronautics. You cannot fly without wings.
Well, Dave, I would suggest that you're wrong because you've never tried it.
Oh, I'm not
going
to try it. I want to stay with wings so I can...
I'd like to ask you to help to join me in this pioneering spirit and begin flying without wings.
I won't be with you.
Well, are you a pilot, sir?
Yes.
All right, Dave, do you own your own aircraft?
Not anymore. I'm 92 years old. I don't fly anymore.
All right, sir. I would suggest, you sound like you probably flew during the day, maybe perhaps twin double wing planes, perhaps?
There's no point in talking any further about it. I'm an aeronautics expert. I taught it for years.
I'm telling you, Dave, would you believe me if I told you that I can do it? I'll prove it to you right now.
Have you ever done it before?
I'm going to try it right now.
Wait a minute. If you've never done this before, don't try it.
No. I'm going to, I'm inside the cockpit right now of my Cessna. Let me try and fire it up right now.
Now you're going to get it to go.
All right, you can hear the engine very clearly.
What engine? Where's your propeller?
Can you hear the engine? Oh,
yes,
it just cut out. It just cut out. Hold on for a minute. Let me try it again.
What kind of an engine is it?
It's a Buick.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, is that a problem?
A Buick?
A Buick? That's ridiculous.
No, I'm just joking around with you, Dave. It just cut out again. All right, let's try it one more time. I swear to God, this is going to be a great moment. Go.
Yeah, that is. I'm sorry I won't be able to come to the funeral.
Here I go, Dave. 1, 2, 3, and... Oh, shoot. I got a problem.
You bet you have.
What do you think it is? Can you help me out?
The problem is that you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I think I can do this. Let me try it one more time. 1, 2, 3, and... Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Ah, shoot.
Well, let me ask a question.
Yes, sir.
You say you're going straight up.
I've got the plane pointed straight up, yeah. It's very uncomfortable right now.
All right. Then you're going to go straight up.
Yeah.
And when you get up to a certain level, you're going to do what?
I will begin to decelerate. And at that point, as I decelerate, the nose, because of the weight, will begin to drop forward.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You turn right around, and your nose, being the heavier part of the flame, will go straight down and bury you in the ground, and you won't have to go to a funeral.
All right. You may have a point, but what I'm trying to do is I got to work that out.
You sure have, because it won't work. Let me explain to you.
One more. Hold on. Come on, baby. Prove it to Dave. I know I can do it.
I think you're going to hurt yourself.
Shut up, Henry. Okay, come on. I died out again. Look, Dave, when the nose dips, I fire the engine back up and I continue flight.
Impossible.
Impossible, huh?
Yes.
That's exactly what they said to Christopher Columbus. Okay,
yeah,
Dave.
But he wasn't flying airplanes.
Well, they said it was impossible, though.
What was impossible for him?
That he could sail a ship.
Well, that has nothing. That's irrelevant. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
They said that to the Wright brothers, too.
Well, the Wright brothers succeeded.
Well, that's a point.
Do you know why?
That's a good point.
Let me ask
Let's
you a
try
question.
one more time. Here we go. Oh, please let me fly.
Phil?
That's a pile of crap.
You know what? I think you're going to wind up killing yourself going straight up.
Phil?
Well,
yes, sir.
The purpose of a wing is to provide lift. This is according to the Bernoulli principle.
The Bernoulli principle?
The air passing over a surface. If the upper
Come on,
surface,
baby.
Let me explain this to you.
Come on, baby.
Let me explain why you have to have wings.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have to have wings.
Try another fuel ratio on that. Go ahead, I'm listening.
You have to have wings because
3-to-1 fuel ratio. I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
you have to have wings because the airfoil, the wing is an airfoil.
Got to be able to get up off the ground now. This is the one. You know what? Maybe if I tried a real airplane engine, because I've got a Buick in it right now.
A Buick engine isn't going to get you off the... All right, thank you, sir, for your call. Art...
I'm telling you, people will die, Phil, as long as airplanes have wings.
Right. Yeah, you're right, because they're still going to have plane crashes. 1-800-449... Will you knock it off with that thing? 1-800-449-8686.
Come on, baby.
Phil Hendrie Show. One 800-449-8686, Phil Hendrie Show. We did have some TV cameras in here yesterday, and I don't know. I heard, believe me, I'm not a guy who has a high opinion of his own looks. In fact, because fortunately I have a successful radio show, I don't really need to have a TV show, and so it didn't really matter to me what I looked like yesterday as we were doing a little filming in here, but I heard from people that I looked pretty good on the tube. My fat face looked okay, you know. In fact, I heard some raves from the crew and from some of the other people who were here. You know, you look really good on TV. Now, these are people that got no reason to bullcrap me. So I was thinking, could it be, is it possible that I'll be the first guy in the history of radio to get a TV show and look good doing one? Like actually look camera friendly? Because maybe the whole key to success is not wanting it and not pressing and just having somebody drop a TV show in your lap and you could give a crap and you're so relaxed, you look great. Now, what would make me look good on television? I have no idea. I'm bald and fat, and there you go. And I was wearing a black sweater, too, which I don't think is my best color, especially when your skin is pasty Irish white. So, who knows? Anyway, driving in here today, I wanted to, first of all, thank all of you who've moved from the East Coast to California, because one of the reasons why I was late walking into the office is because nobody who works here at the building that I work in, where Premier Radio is located, nobody here knows how to park a car between those white lines that they paint on the cement for a reason. And the reason is that's where you put your car in between. And if you can't get your car in between there, that means that the next poor schlub that tries to get his car into that space, now he has to deal with trying to get out of his car. Because you didn't get your car in between the white lines. You put your car over the white lines because we're all supposed to respect your BMW? Or whatever the thing is, right? I swear to God, there were 2 slots that were wide open on the roof of the parking structure today as I pulled in, and I couldn't get my car into either one of those. I got the car in, but I couldn't get out. I couldn't open the door without banging the dude's door next to me and basically shearing off my manhood, trying to get out of the car, shearing off hundreds of pounds of flesh, trying to get out of that car and out onto the street, because these dudes are from back east and don't know how to put their cars into a parking slot. How do you know they're from back east, Phil? Because I just came from Miami, 3 years there, and as much as I love that town, there isn't a human being in Miami that knows how to drive or park a car. It ain't California, because I grew up in this town, and quite frankly, having lived many other places, people drive pretty good out here. I realize it may sound like a load of crap because I live here. I'm telling you the truth. People drive in California, on average, better than the rest of the country. They use turn signals, for starters, which is unknown to the rest of the world. They generally go with the flow of traffic in a safe manner. I'm not saying people keep within the speed limit. I'm saying they go with the flow of traffic in a safe manner. They know how to merge. They know how to exit a lane. They generally know how to merge onto a freeway and get off a freeway. And for the most part, they know how to drive. Because when you go to a city like Miami, Minneapolis, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Georgia, you encounter individuals who spend just as much money as we do, perhaps more. As a matter of fact, the cars, the rides in South Florida are on average better than the ones you see here. Much nicer. Much nicer. They spend $100,000 to $150,000, $200,000 for an automobile, which, fine. You want to spend that much money for a car that ultimately is going to get keyed, dinged, have a fender hanging off of it, have the tires punctured by somebody too irate to even show their face because you don't know how to park the car, and and a cheap-ass window tinting job to go along with it. Hey, it's your money. You go right ahead and spend a couple hundred G's on an Italian import, that Ferrari, and then drive it like a complete moron out there on those expressways that are not kept up very well because they got no state money to put into it. And then don't park it. For God's sake, don't park the thing between 2 white lines. Just let it spill over a little bit into that other lane so that the guy who pulls in, who doesn't have a car anywhere near as much as yours in terms of value, will have no problem opening his door right into yours. Anyway, if it sounds like I'm angry, it's only because I had to go back down through the parking structure and look for a place to park. Forget about Miami and back east. I don't know why I got off on that tangent. It's the idiots that live out here. They don't know how to park a car. I can't get into this parking structure. They want me to use something called a valet. I'm not using the valet here. I'm not waiting for Charlie to get my car. I want to park it. But I go into this thing, and I get here about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, which means there's a lot of cars there, but that's fine. There's generally 2 or 3 slots available. Now, if I had that Humvee that I was going to buy last summer, or some powerful 4-wheel drive vehicle, I ain't going to key anybody's car. I'll wait for the guy to come off the elevator and see me push his Beamer right off the top floor of that parking structure, 5 floors down onto the street. Did you see that? Watch this. This is not an anonymous key job. And I don't leave notes. I'm not the kind of guy that leaves a note on someone's windshield. I don't do that. I'm not going to key somebody's car. I don't do that. I don't need to take out my anger in an anonymous way. Most people do. Most people have these gigs where I guess they get angry and they feel a little powerless, so they place dirty phone calls or they key someone's car or they leave an anonymous note on the windshield of someone's car. I don't do that. I'll wait for the sucker to come out of the building. And if he happens to be larger than me, I'll get back in my car and leave. But are you getting parked here? I can't get parked in that thing. Anyway. And by the way, we're still waiting on our mattress from Larry Miller, but I don't want to say anything about that other than the fact that let's see, we're going on now 6 months since I asked for this mattress to be replaced, this squeaky, cheap, crappy California King mattress that I got in my house, that I used for so long as the launching point of what I felt was a fairly decent pitch on behalf of that guy. And even though, in point of fact, the mattress squeaked, nobody in the house could sleep. I'm talking about a mattress that squeaked so loud, I was waking people up downstairs, across the street, lights going on. So when you get around to replacing that mattress, that'd be a nice thing, Larry. Otherwise, I'll just take it out back and set fire to it, because I think it worked really good as kindling, something to warm my hands on these approaching cold autumn nights. And last night, I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe because of drinking coffee, I couldn't get to sleep, so I was tossing and turning in bed a little bit. Well, you toss and turn in a good bed, and maybe people hear you, maybe they don't. In my bed, it's like, it's just as loud and as like banshee-like caterwauling, screeching, metal on metal, fingernails on a chalkboard, no oil in the crankcase, loud. Cheap piece of garbage. I won't even mention the manufacturer, because we've been waiting for those clowns. And by the way, they were going to replace the mattress. What they did is they came out, busted my clock radio. These two clowns they sent out there to measure the mattress that we had so they could get a replacement for it. These two morons in the process bust the clock radio, stumble their way out of the house, and we ain't seen hide nor hair of them since. Maybe they ain't got enough jack to replace the price of a $20 clock radio. That could be it. Maybe they're hurting over there. Anyway, so we're waiting for that to be replaced, and it's going on 6, 7, 8, 9 months now. I'm sure it'll happen sooner or later. When those guys finally show up with the mattress, I'm going to tell them to turn around and go back. It's just been a rotten week, First Jethro Tull, then I can't get parked, and now my mattress. God, I can't wait to get out of this week. You mean it's Tuesday? So I guess I'll start using the valet downstairs, and that's only for me. It's not for you guys. Only the talent gets to use that valet. And you know what? At 7 o'clock, they go home anyway. So by the time I go downstairs, I don't know where my freaking car is. I've had it valeted. They took it from me and parked it. They ain't going to bring it back. So what you do is you pull up, give them the car, they valet it, they park it somewhere, and you get out of the building at 7 o'clock, and you got to go look for it. That's service. Okay, anyway, 1-800-449-8686. I don't know whether or not you guys know about our Casino Night 2000. Sunday, November the 4th, Casino Night 2000 begins at 7 p.m., and it ends when we all go home, and it is to benefit My Friend's Place, a resource center for homeless and runaway youth in Hollywood. The Museum of Flying at the Santa Monica Airport is where this is going to take place. Call 323-908-0011, extension 102 for more details. 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686, the Phil Hendry Show. And as you know, a airplane, survivors believed to be from a plane hijacked from Cuba today, have been found in the waters 180 miles southwest of Key West, 30 miles northwest of Cuba. The Coast Guard said the Chios Dream, an American cargo ship, happened upon 9 injured people and 1 body, a Coast Guard official told ABC News. But the latest news, and did we get the latest on this? Because the latest is it was a Panamanian ship that picked them up. So I guess we didn't get the latest. Coast Guard authorities said a helicopter was en route to airlift the injured to a hospital in Key West. Ruben Ramon Escobar, part of an activist community in South Florida, is on the line with us this evening from Miami to talk about this plane, obviously, or at least in the minds of some people, populated with people who are looking to leave Cuba, correct?
There's no doubt in my mind that this is a plane that is going to be from Cuba to take people to South Florida to freedom. This plane was hijacked from Cuba for freedom, and we do believe that Elian Gonzalez was trying to return to Miami. We have never forgotten him. And
all right, let me be clear. You think Elian Gonzalez might be on this plane?
I believe that Elian was. I had indicated that he wanted to return to America at the soonest possible opportunity.
Elian indicated he wanted to return to America at the soonest opportunity.
Yes.
Why? How do you know this?
We know this because I planned for him to return to America. I was able, along with the organization I was with, to get money to Elian and communicate the whereabouts of the plane. We were also able to get him firearms. So now Elian has tried to return to us, and once again the CIA has failed for his attempt. How did the CIA do this? We are looking into this.
All right, you're saying some things here. You're saying that you got some money to Elian Gonzalez to try to return to the United States?
That is correct, yes.
And you got him firearms? You got this kid weaponry? The kid is 7 years old.
You have to understand that in order for him to be able to effect this check of this plane, there had to be some weapons. And it's not up to me. A man who is desperate for his freedom is going to...
He's a 7-year-old kid, okay? All right, he's a 7-year-old...
He's a human being that we wish for the CIA of the United States to let us know if he is on this plane.
But you say you provided weapons and money and a way to hijack a plane from Cuba to Elian Gonzalez and some Confederates.
That is correct, yes. And we're pretty sure that this is the plane.
You're not sure whether this is the plane?
No, we are pretty sure this is the one because he was supposed to leave us.
All right, let me ask you, how did the CIA have anything to do with this plane running out of gas, which is what they say happened to this aircraft? You're saying the CIA is foiling Elian Gonzalez's return to...
The CIA, we believe, Mr. Henry, has operatives, certainly they have operatives in Cuba, and as well as obviously in the United States. What we think they did, what we believe they did, was to, as soon as they gassed up the plane, they siphoned gas from the plane and then punctured a hole in the gas tank after they put the gas in. So that...
Wait a minute, they gassed up the plane, then the CIA came and siphoned the gas?
Correct.
And then they regassed it, and then they punctured the gas tank?
We believe so, yes, because his plane ran out of gas, and we do not believe that Elian Gonzalez would be so foolish as to take off from Cuba to come to America without gasoline in the plane. We don't think that this is a man, this is a boy who is looking for freedom. And
that's the couple of times you've called him a man, okay?
I refer to who?
You've called Elian Gonzalez a man. You know it's a boy, right?
Yes, yeah, right. I know it.
You know you were talking about a little boy, right?
Yes, I do. But
see,
Mr. We have information that they siphoned right after they filled up, punctured the gas tank, and this is what happened to the plane.
Well, this seems unlikely, all right? Because
if the CIA can make me look bad by killing a child, and no one knows it's the CIA, they'll do it. And
what do you mean by firearms again? You said you got firearms to him?
When it comes to freedom, we would all die, even 6 or 7-year-olds. We would all die.
All right, we're talking to Ruben Ramon Escobar. What do you mean the CIA's... I want to ask you a question. You're telling a story here. You're telling me that the plane that crashed today off of Cuba had Elian Gonzalez on board, that he's trying to get back to America, that he and some Confederates hijacked that plane with money and weapons that you got to him, and...
Yes, because I have not forgotten this boy.
That you got to him, and that the CIA siphoned the gas out of the plane and then punctured holes in the gas tank to make you look bad by killing this child. Why would the CIA, okay, want to make you look bad?
Because Ruben Ramon Escobar is the #1 anti-Castro freedom fighter in all of Miami. The CIA would like to humiliate me by bringing me down and bringing this kid down as well. It is unfair that the CIA would do this. And this is what I'm talking about.
All right. How do you know that the boy is with them?
I'm sorry?
How do you know that Elian Gonzalez is with them?
We demand the CIA and the United States government show us the boy. We demand to see the boy.
So you don't know whether the Elian Gonzalez is on this plane?
We don't know, but we demand to see the boy.
And what if the boy is not there?
Then we must go in and get him. We must get the boy. But the CIA will not correct this mistake. Get the boy. We must get the boy.
Well, all right, Mr. Escobar, I think you've got a big hill to climb there. First of all, you don't know whether or not the kid was on that plane. Secondly, if the kid was on the plane, you don't have any information as to his whereabouts. And thirdly, according to you, the CIA is trying to kill you because you're trying to get Elian Gonzalez out of the country. Is that your story? Is it your story?
I tell you, my story is not. I'm not to be lectured to by you. But
I'm not lecturing you. Is your story that you gave money to Elian Gonzalez to hijack a plane?
I did, yes. And I know that Elian wants to get out of there. He told me the last thing he said to me before he left, he said, God, I don't want to go. And because he had not seen a lot of the things. And
the last thing he said to you?
I had that communication with him, and I am saying to you, Mr. Henry, before you take lightly the freedom that we desire as a Cuban people, I am Ruben Ramon Escobar. The CIA knows me, and they would want to kill me because I'm the #1 freedom fighter for all of the people of Cuba. And that Elian Gonzalez was trying to get out. And
so you don't know that he's there.
If I ask the CIA, we want to see the boy, and if we see the boy, we'll know it's the boy.
And if the boy ain't there,
then we've got to go in to get him, because I know he's had it up to here with Cuba. He's sick of it. He said so. What?
Never mind. 1-800-449.
This is not a game that we are playing.
No, I know you're not playing a game. 1-800-449-8686. Ruben Ramon Escobar is on the line with us, talking about the plane that was the plane that went down in the sea off of the coast of Cuba, that had some 9 people on board, I believe, right, Mike? 10 people on board. One of them is dead. The other, I believe, are survivors picked up by a wide variety of reports, either a Panamanian or an American ship. Mr. Escobar believes that Elian Gonzalez was on board. How many children were on board that flight?
I believe there were 3.
3 children. You think one of them was Elian Gonzalez attempting to come back to the United States because you provided him with money, weapons,
and also we had provided to him a visa, a passport, so that...
What good's a passport going to do him if he's landing his plane in full view of the world?
What we are trying for him to effect a landing in Cuba where he would not be detected. And then we will therefore be able to just get out of the plane and check into a Holiday Inn there in Sunrise or someplace and blend in.
Okay, so the kid is flying in from Cuba in this plane. They're going to land it undetected and then blend in.
That was the plan, yes. And obviously it went awry. They ran out of gas.
All right, and that's because the CIA punctured holes in the gas tank.
To my belief, if you don't believe what I say to you, it doesn't matter. We've been doing this battle for so many years. We are fighting this battle.
And as Ruben Ramon Escobar, the #1 anti-Castro fighter in Florida, the CIA is trying to kill you for trying to get him out.
They will have to kill me for getting Elian out. They don't like me. I love America. But why America want to kill me, I don't know. But we must see the boy to know whether or not my money got him out. Otherwise, I'm out like 50 grand. And that hurts. And
$50,000 what you said to those guys?
Yeah, give or take 10.
All right, 1-800-449. So he's going to be out 50 G's if that kid ain't out of Florida. He thinks that Elian Gonzalez is on that plane. Is there any list of the names of the people who are on that plane? 1-800-449-8686 as we speak with Ruben Ramon Escobar, anti-Castro activist from Miami, about the plane that went down off of Cuba. He believes Elian Gonzalez is on board, and he believes that because he sent money down there so that Elian could hijack an airplane and get some guns and come up here and do it. Didn't give him enough money to keep gas in the tank, but the CIA punctured the tank. I forgot about that one. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show.
Want more people like that?
Hold on. 1-800-449-8686. This is the Phil Hendry Show. Ruben Ramon Escobar, anti-Castro activist from Miami, has joined us from Miami this evening on the phone. Following the crash of a plane that was hijacked in Cuba in the Yucatan Straits, I think, is where it was picked up. There's some speculation, at least on the part of Mr. Escobar.
Not on the part of me, it's on the part of the Cuban community.
All right, hold on. All right, on the part of the Cuban community, then, that Elian Gonzalez might have been on board this airplane, that he hijacked it, you're saying a 7-year-old boy hijacked an airplane?
I'm saying that he had Confederates in Cuba who helped him effect his hijacking. Yes, I did.
That he held a gun on somebody and said...
I don't know what his role is. This is not important what his role is. What is important is that with the money that I provided to him is possible. Now,
but you don't know for sure.
Well, I gave him money. I got the money to him through people. And
how did you get money to Elian Gonzalez in Cuba?
I'm not willing to say.
All right, so why do you think that was him?
Because he's overdue. He was supposed to be here last week. I sent in the book Hijacking for Dummies. And what he did,
Okay, so you sent him a book, you gave him money, you gave him a weapon, and you think he's hijacked a plane and is on his way up here to the United States. Let's say that he isn't on that plane. You say we ought to go in and get him. If he's on the plane, I can understand one thing that people may say, well, let's keep him, okay? But if he's not on the plane, he's not on the plane, and you're not going to get anybody interested in getting him out of Cuba, okay?
You are wrong there, Mr. Early, because the simple point of fact is this, that if I give the word, I could have 1,000 Cubans in the street within the hour. And
how can you get 1,000 Cubans in the street in an hour?
Because I am Ruben Ramon Escobar. I'm the #1 anti-Castro activist in South Florida. The people will listen to me. The people will follow my lead. And I've said to them, I will get Elian Gonzalez back. I have not forgotten the boy. And that's why I said to you, it is the most important thing for the boy to show himself. Maybe the boy doesn't want to show himself. I don't know. But maybe the CIA will not let the boy show himself. But I give the word. All I have to do is wink. All I have to do is lift my leg. Thousands of Cubans will be in the street. And they will demand where the boy is. Rudder.
Okay, back it off, will you?
No, I'm saying it's important for the Cuban people to be recognized in this matter. Because I feel as if we have been insulted. Would I give good money to have a plane hijacked and they punch holes in the gas tank? God!
Mr. Escobar, let me ask you, if this is not the Elian plane, you realize that you have ruined Elian's chances for escape. You realize that?
Run that by me again.
If this is not Elian Gonzalez's plane,
right,
you realize that you've blown his chance for escape.
Why?
Why? Because this broadcast most probably is being monitored in Cuba, and that, excuse me, that it's being monitored in Cuba, and that the Cuban authorities will then say, oh, look at this. Elian Gonzalez has weapons, he has Confederates inside the country, and he has money. And he's probably plotting an escape because of this guy in Miami, Ruben Ramon Escobar. And then maybe the Cuban Secret Service will want to wax you, okay?
Well, it's not, I don't care because the CIA has been trying to kill me for years. The CIA has been trying to kill me ever since I was born. And as far as Elian Gonzalez...
Ever since you were born, huh?
Well, close. But he's a slippery bastard. I know he can do it. And I know that...
Okay, 1-800-449-8686.
I'm sure this is his plane. I also sent him tickets to Disney World and they expire in 2 days. I'm sure this is him.
Otherwise, you're out $50K.
Yes, sir. And it hurts.
Yeah, well... It's going to hurt, man. It's going to hurt real bad that this kid is down there in South Florida or down there in Cuba or wherever he is, and he won't make any contact with you, okay? Perhaps he's just making contact with his family. And
no Cuban comes into Miami without making contact with Ruben Ramon Escobar. No.
Well, what I'm saying is that it's possible that if Elian was on that boat, or on that plane, I should say, and made it into South Florida, the first people that he'd want to see would be that family that he was with.
No. Impossible.
Why is that impossible? That he'd want to be with that aunt that was crying and that...
No Cuban comes into South Florida without speaking to Ruben Ramon Escobar. They first have to come and pay their respects. They have a cup of Cuban coffee. And
oh, will you come on? They just fished the guy out of the freaking water. He's going to come down and have himself a cup of Cuban coffee.
I don't know. I don't know what that... I don't know.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. He may be slippery, but you've endangered his chances, if he is not on that plane, of ever getting out again. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it's what happens, see? Because you're running your big mouth about the money that you sent him.
I thought this might be him.
Well, it could be, but if it's not, that means that the Cuban Secret Service is on his tail now. They know that Ruben Ramon Escobar has sent him money, and...
You were saying my name out loud like that. Is that...
You've been saying your name out loud for the last half hour, that you're the #1 anti-Castro activist.
Well, I know that.
Yeah, well, you know that. Well, so I'm saying it. And the fact is that this kid is now on some kind of a list if he's not out of that country. So I would suggest that you keep a low profile, find out who these people are. Can we get a list of who these survivors are? Did we get a list of any names or anything? Because if we can find that out...
Yeah, but they're going to... First of all, they'll go under an alias. He could be with them and using a different name. Because that is the first thing that I would do where I eat. And I know many Cubans are not going to use their real name when they come back in. And
well, what name is he using?
A lot of them are anglicized names.
What name is he using?
The name is Dave Schwartz. And
okay, so Elian Gonzalez is coming back into the country, and the name he's going to give the Coast Guard is Dave Schwartz.
Right.
All right, man. Good luck with...
What?
Yeah, well, good luck with this whole rescue thing, man. I don't think it's him, because I didn't see any manifest with the name Dave Schwartz on it. But now we know, if there is a guy picked up at sea named Dave Schwartz...
It's Elian Gonzalez.
Right.
I blew it again.
Yeah. Yeah, you blew it again.
You know something?
You know, I think what you just need to do...
Tell me.
You just need to shut up.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah. Shut up.
But I'm Ruben Ramon
Escobar, and you're the #1 guy. You keep your big fat mouth shut. Now he's going to get a different name, okay?
Hey, Elian, if you're listening, don't give the name Dave Schwartz. Elian.
Yeah, don't give that name, Elian. Okay, we're done with that nutcase. Elian Gonzalez is going to come back to the country with the alias Dave Schwartz. 1-800-449-8686. We're going to continue with our discussion on this in just a couple of minutes here on the Phil Hendrie Show. Don't forget about our Saturday, November 4th, Casino Night 2000. It starts at 7 o'clock at the Museum of Flying in Santa Monica. Proceeds go to My Friend's Place, a resource center for homeless and runaway youth in Los Angeles. They provide meals, a safe place to be. They offer programs to assist young people by helping them cultivate necessary communication and social skills. Tickets are $250 per person, and they can be purchased by calling our Casino Night coordinator at 323-908-0011, extension 102, or by mailing a check to Post Office Box 3867, Hollywood, California, 90078. And also corporate sponsorship packages are available. Now, that isn't all, and I'll be announcing a few extra special cool things that'll be happening that night. Hope you can join us Saturday, November 4th. We'll be back on the Phil Hendrie Show. You're listening to The Phil Hendrie Show. And now, Coast to Coast AM/PM Mini Mart. If you're calling from west of the Rockies and you don't know what to do yet, you're pretty stupid. If you're calling from east of the Rockies, good for you. I don't know what to tell the rest of you. And now, Coast to Coast, AM/PM, out of retirement. From the Kingdom of Nye. Woo! Here's my man.
Thank you very much, Ross. Thank you, and hello. And it's good to be back with all of you, out of retirement. And out of retirement for a very good reason, because in a moment we're going to be talking with General Johnson Jameson about the MTA strike in the city of Los Angeles and how bus and transit strikes can affect each and every one of us in a very, very negative way. But first, this from Penman Enterprises. Friends, how many times have you thought I could be flying over the Andes, the plane could crash, me and a soccer team could be left on board, stranded there, and then I'd need to eat human flesh? Do I have a recipe book? Well, now you do. Donner Party for Two. From Penman Enterprises. You really don't know how good an Italian goalkeeper can taste, but with Donner Party of Two, these recipes will be great recipes like Uruguayan cab driver L'Orange or Canadian banker under glass. How about Texas oil man stew or my personal favorite, filet of Chilean school teacher? And if you order now, you get these special flavor packets. Yes, it's the great recipe book for people stranded in the Andes, hoping to stay alive by eating human flesh, the flesh perhaps of a friend or family member. Donner Party of Two, new from Penman Enterprises.
And now, back to that sick bastard, Art.
All right, thank you very much. And we do have on the line Brigadier General Johnson Jameson. By the way, do you notice how much the show sucks since Mike Siegel took over? I'm just kidding. It's really good. Let's start again.
Here's that ass, Art.
All right, thank you. Now, I'm joking around, of course. I think he's a tremendous individual, great broadcaster, and I'm very happy to be retired. Sitting at home as I usually do, peering through the blinds when I hear a truck pull up. Otherwise, having my wife or bodyguard answer the door. Now, General Jameson is on the line with us from his bunker complex. Actually, General Jameson, I'm not exactly sure. Where are you right now?
Yes, right now I'm at my vacation bunker. Ordinarily, I would be in my bunker complex under 300 feet under the Saskatchewan crust, but I'm in my vacation bunker right now. I'm having my other bunker termite treated.
All right, so you have termites in your bunker in Saskatchewan?
Yes, I'm in Lancaster, California. And,
now, General, you know that there is a light rail and bus strike in the Los Angeles area, correct?
Yes, I do.
Now, here is where it gets really interesting. The light rail strike and bus strike is impacting you there in Lancaster. Do you see this as another CIA attempt at silencing you?
Well, I got to tell you something. I do, Art. And I'll tell you why. This bus and rail strike has affected me. My caregiver and nurse, Juanita, usually takes the bus here. But this is day 4 of me sitting in my own waste. Okay? In other words, my adult diaper hasn't been changed.
Uh-huh.
And I just marked it off on the calendar. Day 4. And in my diary, dear diary, day 4 of me sitting in my own human excrement. Now, you see? Do you see? You see?
I do.
You see?
Yes, I see.
Okay. And that's what I'm talking about. How about some more of that spooky music? It really... there you are. Thank God. I didn't think I was on the air with you.
Oh, no. We love... So you're sitting there in your own waste because your caregiver, Juanita, is not there to change your diaper?
That's correct. And I believe...
What do you attribute that to?
I attribute it to the CIA creating a bus strike and rail strike so that my maid can't get up here to change my diaper or make me my special little dranky poo. And
what drinky poo is that?
Well, it's an otter pop that I like to melt into a Jell-O.
That sounds like a lot of fun that you have with your the woman who changes your diaper.
I really do. And then we get and take a bath and stuff. But she's not here. And so that, you see, I believe to be a plot. We enjoy each other's company.
So you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that General Jameson is speaking to me from his vacation bunker 300 feet below the California crust, that he hasn't had his adult diaper changed in 3 days by his caregiver, and that is because the CIA started this strike and is attempting to continue this strike. And
4 days, Art. 4 days I've been sitting.
How about if you were to get up and actually wash yourself off?
Well, that defeats the whole purpose of having a woman come in.
Yes, I understand that, but I thought...
No, I can't do that. I can't do that. I have important work that I have to do. I have to prove that the CIA wants to murder me. Why would I want to get up and give myself a sponge bath and disprove all of that, you see? So...
All right, I understand. Well, I hope that you're feeling better. I hope that someone changes your diaper very quickly.
Thank you. Thank you, and God bless.
God bless. So, you see, I came out of retirement for that. To get on the phone with General Johnson Jameson, only to find out he's been sitting in his own waste for 4 days because the woman who usually changes his diapers isn't there because of a rail strike. Thank you.
Oh, shut up.
I'm Art Bell. Goodbye.
And now, back into retirement he goes. And why not? You people creep him out. You give him the big-time creeps. Quit bothering him. I'm Ross Mitchell. I'm the real star of this show. By the way, I haven't had my diapers changed either. You're listening to The Phil Hendry Show.
Well, now I'll tell you the story that Melissa and Mike and everybody wants me to tell. This is the Phil Hendry Show, and I'm Phil. So, because we were just talking about, General Johnson Jameson there with Art sitting in his own crap, and they said, and I mentioned to them, well, that was my dad toward the end of his life. They said, oh, tell that story on the air. It's funny. How dare... No, I'm just kidding. Well, it was. They said, it's really funny. Talk about your old man sitting there in a nursing home in his own doo. Okay, here's how it goes. My old man was in some toilet of a nursing home down here, and I don't even know what the town was. Was it Hawthorne or something, or Torrance? Some crap can. Real garbage pit. How he got in there, I don't know. Because I knew he was not doing well. He was getting worse. I knew he was getting worse the day he said to me, hey, do you think Frank Gifford could make a comeback as a football? I thought he was saying as a broadcaster. He was talking as a football player. He says, do you think, no, Dad, Frank Gifford's like 112. No, I think he could still play ball. Okay, so right then I decided to just go ahead and check the menu again, and I'll have just coffee, please. I knew there was trouble, so we kind of all got together as a family and said, well, what are we going to do? And somebody made the decision to put him in this toilet, this place where they warehouse old people. He was there for a couple of weeks, and I would go there, and I would read to him, and I would do all this stuff, and, and I would smell. When you walk into a place where human beings are kept, and you can smell crap and urine, it's like you're walking into the freaking pound, okay? It's time to get whoever that is that's in there, any loved one of yours, in any nursing home that smells like somebody just took a crap, get them out of there. That's the number one rule. And if anybody out there operates any toilet bowl like that, somebody ought to roll a hand grenade in there. These are people supposedly we love and care about, and we've got to, do something for them, for God's sake, toward the end of their life. So I'm talking about 12, 13 years ago when my father passed on, which was in 1987. So I got him out of this toilet, and there was some old man laying next to him. It was nuts. And we finally got him into a place that was really nice, really clean, and really nice people, and really relatable people, and not the stupid blank stare that some of these idiots would give me when I asked them questions about him. And they put him into a really nice place. And unfortunately, see, my father didn't have Alzheimer's, but he had some kind of a problem that affected his mind, so that he was gradually reduced to kind of a childlike state. Or he was out of it, right? He didn't quite know where he was. So this was a really great place. But he started to have an adult diaper. I guess he had a diaper problem or something. Because they would find him with, sitting in his own crap. So he, one night, he went into a coma. The next day, he died. And I really believe it's because he was an extremely fastidious man in his life. He took like 2-3 showers a day sometimes. He just liked to be clean. And he used a lot of cologne. And he was a clean guy. And I think something way deep down inside of him was saying, you're sitting in your own crap. We've got to check out of this. I know I would. Mike's nodding very seriously. Geez, it must have been a tough time. I'm serious. I understand if you're sitting in your own crap, you'd want to check out. Yes, you would too. No matter how simple-minded you gotten, no matter how, how far gone you are with this Alzheimer's thing, man, I'm telling you, we all got parents, and I'm telling you, Charlie, I hope it's easier on you than it was on me. I'm telling you that. Because this was a real drag. And so anyway, this cat, my old man, finally checked out the next day. And I really believe it got to a point in his life where he said, geez, I can't, this is unbelievable. Even though he wasn't consciously the kind of man who could formulate those thoughts anymore, I think there's some deeper level where you still are maintaining some sense of yourself. And I think that night, he checked out. He willed himself into that coma, and eventually he died because it was like, I can take anything, man. I can survive anything. I will not sit here and have people change my pants for me. It's not going to happen. I'm dead. And I got to be honest with you, I was happy for him because I knew all of this. He's what? Well, your father, we had to change his pants. He pooped in them. Oh, isn't that just, oh, thank you. Oh, boy. Well, and I said, oh, man, I hope this poor guy just, wherever he's going, go now, Dad. And that's what he did. Because the doctor said to me, do you want to put him on artificial respiration? I said, hell no. And he said, why not? I said, because he may crap his pants again, and I'm not going to be the guy changing that, so just check him right off the planet. And by the way, just so you're not too totally shocked, he told me to pull the freaking plug, okay? So thank you very much. I got the word directly from my old man. I was 8 when he gave it to me, but I remember he said, he did. He said, don't you ever put me on that artificial bullcrap. I said, I ain't going to do that. And he had a glass of Budweiser when he said it, but... And son, I want you to know one more thing. I want you to pull that plug on me. Okay, Pop. If you can remember, I don't know. Well, I'll probably remember. Because the other thing he asked me to do, my father liked to sail, and he had a sailboat that he had at Newport Beach, and it was a really beautiful boat. It was a 33-foot rowed sloop. You people who are into sailboats, you may know what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't know, it was a wood-hulled, it was a teak-hulled, gorgeous sailboat, 33 feet long, slept about 4 people, and had a little galley, and it was really cool. And it's a hell of a thing. If you own a boat, a wood boat is a son of a gun to take care of because you got to hose that thing, especially if you have it on the ocean. You bring it in and you spend an hour and a half to 2 hours hosing it down and shamming it down and wiping it down because if it's wood and it gets salt water on it, it blisters, the wood blisters, and it's horrible. That's why most boats today are fiberglass. But anyway, he had this boat, and we would sail as a kid, and he said to me, I love this life, and what I'd like you to do, Philip, and again, I'm 9, what are you putting this on me for, man? Well, I just want you to know. Here's another thing I want you to remember. Okay, you want me to pull the plug? What's the next thing? Tie me to the tiller of this boat and just set me adrift. If the day ever comes, tie me to the tiller of this boat and set me adrift and just... That's where I want to die. And I later on said, that would have been cool if you hadn't sold the boat. So now what am I going to tie you to? Your Cadillac? How about if I tie you to the wheel of your Cadillac and just send it down a freeway on-ramp? Mike says, how about did you light it on fire like in King Arthur? No. Like a Viking funeral? So he said, tie me to the tiller of this boat. I love this so much. And when the time came that I could have tied him to the tiller of the boat, it had been sold. So the only boat that I could tie him to the tiller of was actually my electric boat, and we're eventually going to find him because it's a lake. If I tied my old man to the tiller of an electric boat and set him adrift out in Westlake, eventually it goes around the island and comes back to my house. And he ain't going to smell too good either. Or I could tie him to the tiller of the boat that he loves so dearly, but the owner wouldn't like it very much, whoever he or she is. So the poor son of a guns, he wound up the way he did, sitting in his diapers. And I said, well, I'm sure that he didn't want to do that. So that's why he checked out. So I think that people have a control over that thing, man. I think when you want to go. Because he was healthy as anything, and then the next day he's like out flat on his back, and, with the thing going beep, 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 beep. And I said, this sucks. The doctor said, well, he's gonna croak eventually here, and I got to catch lunch. I said, I don't blame you. So how about if we just go ahead and... No, we waited until the thing went down. It didn't pull a plug prematurely. And they don't pull the plug necessarily. What they do is they just wait for you to croak, and they don't re-energize you. So I said to the doctor, pull it, I'll get the burgers. He said, great, and okay. You know. And that's that. But he didn't want to be sitting in his poop. So that's the story you guys wanted me to tell on the air, huh? Well, there it is. That's the truth. That's my life. That's one aspect of my life. Do I want anybody to do that for me? Hey, let me tell you something. After seeing Jethro Tull on Saturday night, I wanted somebody to tie me to the tiller of a boat and set it on fire. That's the last time I ever do anything like that again as long as I live. And you guys that are going out there trying to... Forget it. Oh, let's go see the Grateful Dead. There's a reason why they named themselves that. They're dead and they're grateful. I ain't going to do that again. In fact, I ain't going to see no music ever again. The only music I'm going to go see is like Irish folk, some kind of Iranian classical, some sitar crap, stuff that I have no history with, stuff that looks new, even though the guy who's up there practicing it is 165 years old, lives in a freaking cave in the north of China. You know how I want to go out? Tie me to a radio transmitter and pump 50,000 watts through my rear end. That'd be great. That's the only kind of music I want to see. I do not want to go back and see any baby boomer freaking ass band. And Almost Famous, now that I think about it, that movie blows. Okay. Enough already with the nostalgia, okay? Can we have a movie about right now? Something that's happening right now. What's happening right now? This show's happening right now, brother. Won't be long now, man. And if this TV show takes off, you'll be seeing my big, bald face all over the place. And with the extra scratch, I may be able to send the kids to college or something. But I doubt it. Anyway, 1-800-449-8686. Everybody says I look good on TV. I think I look good on TV the way those guys on those wanted posters on America's Most Wanted look good on TV. It's the Phil Hendry Show. 1-800-449-8686. This is the Phil Hendry Show, and we commence with Part 7 in our 10-part series, Religion in America. And in this particular part of the series, we're going to be talking with a woman who has a Christian outreach program in her community, which is in Western Estates. She's the currently reinstated president of the Western Estates Homeowners Association, Bobby Dooley. She's the mother of 3 boys, and she joins us now on our Newsmaker line from Western Estates. And Ms. Dooley, thanks for joining us.
Well, it's my pleasure, Phil. Thank you.
All right. You have a Christian outreach program that has met with some success, but also some resistance in your neighborhood?
Yes, Phil. My husband and I believe that we have something that we think is going to be successful. As Christians, of course, we witness to the Word of God, and we are here to help bring people to Jesus.
Tell me about the resistance you've been meeting, though.
Well, as Christians, of course, my husband believes that we have a rare opportunity because we have a great many Jewish people in our community, or as my husband calls them, the sons and daughters of Abraham. And that's really the toughest part. We want to help these people, but particularly their children, become Christian and witness to the Word of God. And
now, you live in Western Estates, and you say you have a great many Jewish people in your neighborhood?
We do, Phil. Our middle son, Justin, has a young a friend named David Greenberg. He was our next-door neighbor, and we knew that David was visiting Justin, and we also knew that he was of the Jewish faith. We felt, my husband felt very strongly that we had a responsibility to bring David to Jesus. Our minister at the Blood of the Lamb non-denominational chapel, which is in West Hills, Roy Bacon, who I know you know.
I'm familiar with Mr. Bacon, yeah. He's the pastor at where? At the Blood of the Lamb non-denominational?
Yes, that's our chapel. He was summoned by Jesus, really, to our home. And praise Jesus, David Greenberg accepted Jesus Christ as his personal, private Savior. And we're just so very, very happy. My husband believes, as I do, that...
Yeah, but this was controversial. This is a young Jewish boy who's playing with your son, right? Is that correct?
Yes, David and Justin were very good friends.
And he was baptized into the Christian faith by you?
No, by Roy Bacon, our minister.
All right, by Roy Bacon, who's your minister. Where did this take place?
This took place in our home, Phil. It was a wonderful celebration for the Jewish people, but nonetheless, his soul was at stake. And we really got on the phone with Minister Bacon and asked that we get a baptism. It happened last Friday.
You say his soul was at stake because he was Jewish.
Well, really, it's with no, we don't mean anything by that, but obviously if you're Jewish or if you're non-Christian, you can't, we believe, and my husband believes, you cannot get into the kingdom of God. And we also believe, because David was about to have his bar mitzvah, we really needed to act fast. So Minister Bacon came to our home. We baptized David in the shallow end of our swimming pool. It was really beautiful because we have a beautiful beach entrance, and we have a new tile in the dam wall of our jacuzzi. I picked it out along with our contractor, Skip Berger. We have just a beautiful layout, the landscaping. My husband, Steve, is in landscaping. And
okay, well, hold on for a minute. You're telling me about the tile on the dam wall of your jacuzzi, and...
Well, no, but it's just a very nice... And we do have the Caribbean blue pebble teching in our pool.
So what are you telling me? It looked beautiful as David Berger? Or what is the kid's name?
David Greenberg.
Sounds like your contractor's Jewish, too. Skip Berger?
Yes, he is. But Skip has already found Jesus. So,
okay, so Skip Berger is a Jewish contractor.
But he's Christian now.
Who's now Christian. Now, you had this young boy baptized in your swimming pool with its pebble teching and its tile on the dam wall of the jacuzzi a week before his bar mitzvah. Now, here's the big question.
Phil, I know what you're going to ask.
Hold on, let me ask the question. Were the parents aware of this?
Phil, we do witness to the word of Jesus Christ. And
were the parents aware that this boy was going to be baptized a Christian? This friend of your son's who comes over to the house and...
Well, it was in our swimming pool. We did have the Caribbean blue pebble teching. I'm not sure what you're asking.
Oh, I'm not asking about the Caribbean blue pebble teching in your pool. I'm asking you, were the parents of this boy aware of the fact that he was going to be baptized a Christian? He's a Jewish boy, a week away from his bar mitzvah. You and your husband... What's your husband's name?
My husband's name is Steve, Phil, and I don't think you need to be so challenging with your questions.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be. You're just telling me about...
We had the jacuzzi wall tiled by Skip Berger Tile. And
what does that got to do? I don't understand.
What?
Skip Berger Tile did the jacuzzi wall of your... That's fine.
The dam wall.
The dam wall of your jacuzzi.
Well, what I'm saying, it was very tranquil and it was very serene. Why are you... I don't get it. Steve?
What?
You didn't...
Hold on. Don't get your husband. Great. I'm glad that Skip Berger did the tile on your jacuzzi dam wall, and I'm glad that you had Caribbean blue pebble teching. You had a boy of the Jewish faith,
Yes.
Baptized a Christian in your pool. Were the parents aware of this?
Phil, the parents, Dolores and Joel Greenberg, are upset, and I said you'll have to talk with my husband. We gave David a cross and a Bible, and we asked him to go home with some Bible verses, John 3:16, and we said, David, it's good that you're Jewish, but we let him know, the historical facts of the Jews killing Jesus. And
okay, so this is what did the parents say to this?
Well, Phil, we are in the end times now. As Christians, my husband believes that Revelations tells us the world's going to end. And
whether or not you sent this boy home with a cross around his neck, Bible quotations...
We gave him a Bible with highlighters, and we highlighted some passages.
So you have a Bible with a bunch of passages highlighted. What did the parents say?
Well, Phil, it's the end times. It really doesn't matter what they say.
No, but I can tell you what they said. They got angry.
Yes, they got angry. But what are we supposed to do? The world is coming to an end. We believe these are the end times. And if I can spend the last days on earth sort of contemplating my Christian love for my fellow man in a 98-degree jacuzzi, I don't understand.
Well, okay, look, this is not getting anywhere because you keep going back to your jacuzzi.
Well, we're very proud of it, and we're very happy that we have our yard. We have a queen palm in the...
Yeah, that's great. You got it landscaped and everything. Did you get it landscaped for Revelations, for the end times?
You know, Phil, that's really offensive, and it's really upsetting to my husband to hear you say that.
What are you trying to say?
Well, I'm just, your wife was talking to me, Steve, about Revelations and the end times and how she had the jacuzzi pebble-tacked in Caribbean blue. You had a Jewish boy who was
He was our next-door neighbor, and he's hanging out with my son, and he's not Christian.
I know, he's Jewish, but did you ask his parents?
We did not feel that we needed to. It was a week away from his bar mitzvah. We felt that if we confronted the parents with the fact that he was not Christian, that they would deny that. And
I think that they would not deny that. I think they're fully aware of the fact that they're not Christian, that they're Jewish. Why would they deny that?
I think that they are in a state of denial. That's what basically Jewish people are, in a state of denial, that they don't understand.
Okay, I know where you're coming from. You're one of these people, this completed Christian kick, right?
Well, we wanted David to be completed, yeah. His parents are partial, but we wanted him to be complete, to be the whole enchilada, if you will. And so...
All right, hold the line, okay, because...
So there's no reason to be depressed.
Well, I think that there is. Hold on. See, because this lady and her husband have a little boy who lives next door who's a friend of their kids, and they baptized him Christian in their swimming pool with Minister Roy Bacon of the Blood of the Lamb non-denominational chapel in West Hills. And as a result, these parents are very upset with them. And I have to tell you, I don't blame them. This is part 7 of our 10-part series, Religion in America. I thought this was a Christian outreach program. These are a lot of people who are just, in my opinion, there's a few people like this who are just taking kids off the street, Jewish kids or whoever, baptizing them, yes, in the shallow end of their Caribbean blue pebble-tacked pool, but nonetheless... something that they didn't confront the parents with. Our number is 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendry Show. One 1-800-449-8686. It's the Phil Hendry Show. 1-800-449-8686. Okay, Ms. Dooley, Bobby Dooley from the Western States Homeowners Association has a Christian outreach program in her neighborhood. You baptize neighborhood kids without the parents' consent. And
Phil,
hold on, without the parents' consent. And this isn't the only time you've done that. You baptized a little boy named David Greenberg, who's Jewish, a week before his bar mitzvah. It's not the only time you've done it, is it?
You know something, Phil? David gave his consent.
Did the parents?
We're not talking about their soul. We're talking about David's soul.
And what's this stuff about, David, the Jews killed Jesus?
Well, it is true. And we're not trying to drive him from his religion, but we are in the end times. As Christians, we do believe these are the end times. And
what about the other kids? There's a little girl, Carrie Rabinowitz, and Toby Ryder, both of them Jewish, both of them baptized in your Caribbean blue swimming pool.
Phil, my husband believes that because we are close to the end times, all of us are going to be taken in the rapture. And we want our children to have other children to play with in heaven. And
so you're making all of these kids Christians so they'll go to heaven to play with your kids.
Phil, we believe that...
Is that right? Is that what you're doing? You're baptizing kids so that when they go up to heaven, there'll be more kids for your kids to play with in heaven?
We believe, Phil...
Can't you answer the question?
We believe heaven is a beautiful place, a city, a wondrous city. And I tried to recreate that in my backyard. That's why we hired Stu Berger Tile and Bob Jones Landscaping. Also, Steve...
Okay, so you're recreating heaven by hiring Stu Berger Tile and Bob Jones Landscaping in your backyard.
And that's why we are baptizing kids. And
against their parents' will, right?
The children gave us their consent.
Against their parents' will, right?
The children gave us their consent.
Okay, I'm not going to,
You know, Phil, you really need to understand.
No, I understand totally. You won't answer the question.
My husband believes that the end times is near.
The end time's near, Phil.
Yeah, great, Steve. Thank you. Oklahoma on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so mad. This woman infuriates me. I have a 7-year-old son. I'm a Southern Baptist, strong believer, and it would kill me to think that this woman might baptize my son without my permission in the name of Christianity.
Your son is already baptized?
No, my son is not baptized. My son is 7 years old. He has not completely come to understanding of what that entails. Baptism is not the only way. It is a final step after you take Jesus Christ into your heart. And how dare you take someone's family beliefs and interrupt them with your own beliefs? You have that right, lady. You just don't have the right. My Lord is not happy with what you're doing. I don't care what you think.
Oh, I see.
He
So
would
God
really
told
be
you?
hurt that you're tearing families apart because that's exactly what you're doing.
Well, so God told you this, huh?
You know what?
You know what?
Apparently God hasn't
really
told you
think it's
anything
sad.
because so far all I've heard out of your mouth is my husband, my husband, my husband.
My
Has
husband
God
believes-
given you any original thought of your own?
You know
Or do you
something?
have to have your husband regurgitate everything for you?
Well, I'd like to respond to that. First of all, Corinthians tells us very clearly that it's the man who runs the household. And I also believe, as my
Sweetheart,
husband does,
the man can run
that
the
heaven-
household, but you don't quote him. Quote the Lord. Don't quote your husband. He's a man.
Well, I really believe that heaven is where we are all going to wind up, and that's why. What are you finding so funny?
I'm finding you and your ignorance funny, and I pray that God will open your eyes.
Well, first of all,
I'm wasting my
let
time
me ask you
talking
a question.
to you,
What is your
just like this gentleman is wasting his time talking
No, I
to
want to
you.
ask you a
And I think
question.
it's really
Oh, you're
sad
giving a
that
speech?
you
I
seem
want to
to
ask you a
think
que- as a
that you are
Christian-
sent on this earth
As a
to destroy
Christian,
families.
I want to ask you a question. All the kids are jealous of our backyard, and we tell the kids.
You're more concerned about your pool with
We tell
Caribbean
the children
tiles
that
than
if
you
they
are
get
about the true
baptized,
life.
they can live forever. What does your backyard look like?
My backyard's beautiful. It's God's natural way.
Do you
There's
have
birds and
pebble
there's...
teching?
You know what? That's the least of it, ma'am.
No, it's not the least of it because we are trying to recreate heaven.
And you can't. The Lord says that heaven is the original.
It is an
and
original
that's really
place.
sad.
I think it's original.
I'm really
No,
sad
you know what's
for
really
you.
sad?
I'm sad for your children.
You know what's
because
sad? It's
you're
sad that
so
you don't
materialistically
have.
placing things of the Lord into a materialistic.
No.
You can't do it. And you have a
David
problem. And I'm not
Greenberg
wasting any more of my
and
time
all of the
talking
Jewish
to you.
children were baptized in the shallow end of a gorgeous Caribbean blue pool. Okay? Oh, so she doesn't have courage. She's not a real Christian. She doesn't have courage.
Well, she sounded very upset that you were baptizing children against the will of the parents.
He was 12 years. No, she didn't say that, Phil.
Well, what did she say?
She said that he wasn't old enough. He was 12 years old, 1 week away from his bar mitzvah. And we had him baptized, and now he can play with my son, and I'm not afraid of my son being, and I don't want this to sound bad, but a lot of Jewish stuff, you know, and now he knows his Bible. And
I don't know what kind of tuition or education this boy had. You gave him a Bible, you gave him a cross, he got baptized, you sent him home. What? And he says he accepts Jesus. Does he even understand? Did he do any study?
We did Bible readings at night. If we were babysitting, we would have intensive round-the-clock Bible.
So did the parents have any idea that their son was coming into this house?
You know something, Phil? As long as he was playing with our Justin, we made sure that they had their Bible lessons. The Jewish people may come into our home, they may not, but we read the Bible in our home. We take a gospel pill. We don't take uppers, we don't take downers, we don't take Quaaludes. We take a gospel pill every day. What?
Nothing.
Really, what?
No, nothing. Northridge on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Yes, I'm upset by this lady because she, because first of all, the Jews didn't kill Jesus. Okay, Jesus was a Jew. Jesus was a Jew, and God, the Jewish are God's chosen people. Okay, and Rome killed Jesus just as much as the Jews did because.
Oh, so you do say that the Jews did kill him then?
No.
Well, you just said that. You just said that. You said just as much as the Jews did.
You know
I caught you. I caught you.
I am particularly offended because my husband. You know what, ma'am?
All right, be quiet, Bobby, and let this lady talk.
But didn't she say that the Jews killed Jesus? Now you're lying.
Ma'am, I'm particularly offended because my husband is a completed Jew.
He's a what?
My husband is a completed Jew.
Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. Well, ask him. He'll set you straight.
Ma'am, please let me finish.
Yes, go ahead.
That he made a personal decision for Jesus Christ, okay? He made a personal decision for Jesus Christ. Jesus died for the Jew first. If you knew your New Testament, Jesus came for the Jew first.
See, you and I are on the same page.
The Gentile was considered as the dogs, as the puppies. So I don't know where you get off with this superiority.
No, you and I agree. You and I agree, see.
No, we don't agree. Because first of all, you don't know your Bible very well because it's the book of Revelation.
These are the end
not
times.
The book of Revelations. First of all,
the book of Revelations.
No, Revelation.
What did
There's
I say?
no S on it. Look,
you said the book of Revelations.
Revelation.
Well, first of all, I'm out there completing Jews. What are you doing? I've had 6 Jews completed in a week.
You know what?
Okay.
How are you completing Jews? By dumping them in your Pebble Tech swimming pool?
We are in the end times. We cannot wait around any longer.
I do believe we're in the end times, but I believe that you are doing more harm for Christianity than good.
We have to start getting these Jews finished up.
Christians such as yourself.
All I'm trying to say, and I understand, I'm just saying we've got to start getting some of these Jews finished. And finished and out the door.
You're not doing it the right way. By throwing a 12-year-old child into a swimming pool is not saving him for Jesus.
Well, what are we going to do when the end times arrive? There are earthquakes in
Are
dire
you as
places.
concerned for the Muslims? Are you as concerned for other
you said
religions?
yourself that Jesus came for the Jews. I'm trying to get them finished, completed,
you know
boxed, and out the.
What do you mean boxed?
You can't do it. You can't do it. You're not the Savior. You're not the Savior.
But I'm very close to. My husband's very close to that.
Hold on. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendry Show. All right, 1-800-449-8686. It's the Phil Hendry Show. We're talking with Bobby Dooley from Western Estates Homeowners Association and a Christian outreach program that she and her husband operate over there. They've baptized a lot of Jewish kids in the neighborhood without the consent of their parents, Bobby. You will admit that.
Phil, we believe these children are old enough. And if their parents find out about it, what will that do but create a great deal of dissension and discord? A 12-year-old boy who wants to embrace Jesus. And
what is this completed Jew thing? What does that mean?
I'm sorry?
What does that mean, completed Jew?
What that means, if you look at Jewish people almost as if they're a dish that just doesn't have the finishing garnishing, the finishing seasoning, almost as if they've been taken out of the oven too early. And what we do is we keep them in the oven long enough to finish the dish. And that way we pull them out like a pie and we box them and get them into the truck and get them delivered to the store.
That's what a half-completed Jew means?
No, to complete a Jew is like to complete a pie. So you put the Jew in the oven and you finish cooking him instead of the half.
I think the analogy you're using is really wrong.
I'm sorry?
The analogy that you're using is really wrong, okay? A completed Jew is like a dish not fully cooked, so you put the Jew in the oven. Do you understand?
No, I'm sorry.
What are you talking about?
Do either one of you understand?
I don't know what.
What?
All right, well, never mind. Here is Sherman Oaks on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, all, I'm a little offended that someone would objectify another human being to talk about them as a dish.
Was that some kind of babble?
Okay, Steve, we're either talking to you or your wife, and...
Well, she's giving some psychobabble.
Oh, well,
I'm not giving psychobabble.
What was objectified?
We're either talking to you or your wife. Where's Bobby?
I'm right here. What is object? My husband wants to
know. You know, to make an object of someone. Have you ever been? If you talk about men looking at women as objects, and that maybe is offensive to women, I'm a little offended that you would look at a Jewish person as an object. I'm not Jewish.
I've never been offended by a man looking at me for my body.
All right. Well, good for you. The other thing.
What's wrong with you? Jesus.
My question, my biggest concern, I think, is I just feel like perhaps you and your husband might be acting a bit selfishly when it comes to baptizing these children for what you said before was to make sure that your child has someone to play with in heaven. I think the Jews are probably going to heaven. I would imagine that everybody is, and that we should sort of leave it up to God to figure out who's going.
Unless you've accepted Jesus Christ, you'll never enter the kingdom of heaven.
Okay, I
that
believe
is
that's
in the
your
Bible.
interpretation of the Bible or your interpretation of religion.
It says in the Bible those very words.
But there are so many different ways to interpret the Bible. And secondly, it's also interesting that when you're talking about the children without the consent of their...
When a recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of butter, how do you interpret that?
I interpret that as I'm making food that is not a human being that I do not refer to as needing a teaspoon of this or that.
Oh, see, you don't even know what it means. 1 teaspoon of butter means 1 teaspoon of butter. You didn't know that?
All right, well, I just have a question.
Okay, we get your point.
See, I made a really good point.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, you're brilliant and fabulous. Can you just answer me this one question?
I made a really good point.
Well, good for you. Okay, you got a point.
Why can't you give me credit for that?
I just did that. Okay, I'm sorry. You're completely off the charts for me.
Well,
my question is, it's really important to not children look at adults with respect. A child is going to look at you as an authority figure, and it's very wrong to not be a responsible adult and to coerce a child who is going to look at you.
We gave him his Bible and we said, look, David, this is the real Word of God.
Right.
This is a little boy who wants to hang out at your house and swim in your pool and be friends with your son. I'm surprised that the child has not got better tuition at home whereby he wouldn't run screaming from your house the minute...
How dare you?
Well, the minute that you did that, I would hope that any kid that I raised would run screaming from your house.
How dare you?
We've discussed it with his parents.
What are you trying to say, Henry?
You heard what I'm trying to say, and you know what? What do you got him on the other end?
My husband is monitoring this, yes. My husband monitors all phone conversations.
I gotta go. I can't take this anymore.
You know, you really need to get with it. Dillo?
She's gone. What does that mean when you say, you know, David, you got to read your Bible?
We are exposing him to the Word of God. Jesus said spread the gospel, and that's what we're doing. In much the same way that we fertilized and resodded our backyard, we're spreading the gospel. It's like laying down fertilizer, like putting in a new queen palm, like putting tile on our deck.
Yeah, on your jacuzzi wall. I got it. Here is San Antonio on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, I am a professing Christian, and I take a real issue. And don't sit there and me.
I'm listening to what you're saying.
Okay?
I'm listening to what you're saying.
I take a real issue with what you've done. Number one, as a professing Christian, I know what I'm challenged to do, and what you're doing makes it hard for me to do what God challenges me to do.
What about half-finished Jews?
Half-finished. Why don't you worry about the people that are on the street right now that have no religion at all? Instead, you're digging into your neighbors who at least believe in something.
Well,
work a little bit at a time.
Do you know Minister Roy Bacon?
You were coming across as a fanatic.
Oh,
and fanatics are what turn everything against what we're trying to do.
Do you know Minister Roy Bacon?
You attract people to Christ and Christianity through the truth, not through a fancy Caribbean blue grouted swimming pool.
What I'm saying to you is we have been able to baptize some 12 to 13 neighborhood kids. There's a lot of Jews in this neighborhood.
I work the streets with religious organizations, and I've seen people baptized. I don't think that you can walk up to somebody and say, have you accepted Christ in your life? And say, the Bible really tells you that you need to do that.
Right.
And see them dipped in water. That is not baptism. That is not accepting Christianity.
Well, what
that is
about
a symbol of something that somebody wants recognition for.
Can I ask the gentleman a question? Do you know anything about this half-finished Jew stuff? What is that supposed to mean?
I've never heard that in my life.
Half-finished Jews are people that have not, they're Jews who have not accepted Jesus as the Messiah. And so, like a dish that...
Yeah, like a pie that's not in the oven. Yeah.
Yeah, get off that. Look, what you represent to me is a half-baked idiot. Because you really come across as somebody that is strongly ignorant to what Christianity is truly about.
You're talking to Steve, my husband, won't like the way you're talking to me.
What are you saying?
Well, if you don't like the way I'm talking to you, then stop what you're doing because it's wrong.
Why? Just because you don't like it? We're
no,
trying to finish up all the Jews.
I'm going to ask you this. What would you do if your kids went next door and were converted to Judaism?
Oh, we don't let our children go to Jewish homes. No, of course not. Do you?
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. That's the answer to your question. Your kids are right there at home, and...
We have a lot of half-cooked Jews. And
will you stop saying half-cooked Jews, because that's really beginning to get on my nerves.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think that you're an overcooked Christian. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your call. Overcooked.
You know something, Phil? There are a lot of Jews that need cooking. And
oh, man, I'm going to slug it.
What are you trying to say? You're going to slug my wife?
You're bugging me.
God, you are violent.
Yeah, I'm getting that way. Here's Newport Beach, or Newport, wherever. Is it California, sir?
No, it's New York.
No, Newport. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to remind us, Bobby, I could appreciate your feeling and your wanting to do good, but this is the United States, and we do have freedom of religion. And,
absolutely. But David was able to accept Jesus Christ.
Yes, but he's not old enough to have sex with his teacher, like there was some case a few years ago.
Well, but he is old enough to have his bar mitzvah, and he was a week away from his bar mitzvah.
Yeah, but that's a tradition. That's a tradition. That's not his choice. The parents are throwing a big party for him, I'm sure, right?
I don't know, not anymore, no.
Well,
because he's
they were planning a big party for him, weren't they?
Yes, he's a Christian.
Yeah, no, before you baptize him.
I don't know. I guess, isn't that what you do?
That's what Jews do, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, thanks for your call. Here is Richmond on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Well, this is interesting. I think what Phil is, please don't say every time I say two words.
I'm here
it's
for
very
you.
rude.
Yeah, you're going to everybody.
I'm listening
that makes me and everybody else think that you're not really listening.
No, I'm listening to you.
This is nothing to do with religion. This is just courtesy.
Right. Okay.
So just don't say constantly while I'm talking.
You're telling me what to say now.
And you're interrupting me.
You're telling me what to say.
I said, please don't.
Please don't what?
Please don't interrupt me. Please don't say,
I'm not interrupting you. I don't think that's interrupting. I don't think that's interrupting.
Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and talk.
Are you a Christian? Are you a Christian?
No, I'm not.
I won't interrupt you if you're Christian.
I'm not a Christian.
Well, then I have to interrupt you.
No, you don't. I have a freedom of religion in this country also means freedom from religion, if we like that.
Well, I think that with a lot of the half-baked Jews, or Mr. Henry doesn't want me to say that, they're not finished.
We heard this, and what Phil is trying to explain to you is when you say
we got that
in the oven,
or will you stop with that, okay?
Them, that makes people think of the Holocaust.
There you go. So can you stop talking about we got to finish up the Jews, all right?
When you say putting Jews in the oven, that reminds people of the Holocaust.
All right,
you understand
hold on for a minute. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show. One 1-800-449-8686. Wichita, you're on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
The first thing I want to say is tell that lady to keep her mouth shut when someone else is talking.
Well, I'm a Christian.
Well, so am I a Christian. I have a lot of friends in all different kinds of faiths, and they are just as good as anybody else.
Well, I've just had my backyard
for me to try to change their belief is not in my vocabulary. Shut up.
Well,
no one cares about your
You know, if you get too excited, you could have some palpitations. I have
shut up. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm saying.
I have heart palpitations.
Be quiet, because you're getting the lady upset.
Well, how dare you? I'm a Christian.
Well, so am I. And I respect other people's religion, and I don't try to change it to mine.
But there's a lot of uncompleted, half-finished Jews that we have to go out.
The Jews are okay. I have Jewish friends, and I wouldn't trade them for you under any circumstance.
Well, I was told that they needed completing, like there's a piece
Well,
missing
you
from
need
the kid.
completing for something. And if you had baptized my child, unknowns to me, I would have sued you for anything I could get.
Well, what are you going to sue
And
me
the
for?
best thing you can do
Wrongful
is to
baptism?
move away from where you are and leave all those people there alone.
But you know, the Jews are like a model that you buy at the store, and there's a piece missing. You know, and you
Well,
have to go
maybe
back,
so, but I
to
have
get
my
some glue.
own religion.
And a lot of Christians are like a model.
I respect other people's religion, and you'd be better off if you did too and keep your mouth shut.
But you know something? I've always felt... Oh, she hung up. Hello? I've always felt, Phil,
Yeah.
that Christians are like building a model, and the Jew is the model, and there's a piece missing. And we get so frustrated that we can't finish the model that we start sniffing the glue. And that's a lot of Christians are sniffing glue.
Do you think you are?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Bobby.
Right.
There she goes. There's Bobby Dooley. And she's been baptizing those Jewish kids in her backyard pool for a long, long time. Very interesting call, Mike. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Mike said you have to talk to this lady in Wichita even after the break. And we did. You have to find out after she's done gargling those razor blades if she hadn't had a heart attack. God. Anyway, thank you very much to Bobby Dooley and the Western States Homeowners Association people. We want to remind you, of course, of our Casino Night 2000s coming up on November the 4th, and you can get tickets by calling the following number, 323-908-0011, extension 102, or you can mail a check to Post Office Box 3867, Hollywood, California, 90078, and you will be accorded tickets to our casino night to benefit My Friend's Place, a resource center for homeless and runaway kids. And further announcements will be in the offing for our big casino night. Believe me, some surprises, some things that I think you're going to enjoy. And our CD, the artwork is done, and our CD is pressed, and that's going to be available for you as the coming fall months approach. So join us for casino night. That's November 4th. Saturday, November 4th, starts at 7 p.m. It's going to be at the Museum of Flying at the Santa Monica Airport, and it's located just south of the 10 freeway at the east end of Santa Monica Boulevard.
Yes, you guys must have had to look long and hard to find somebody that was as big a jerk as Ted Bell.
Well, sir, I'm a business owner.
Let me tell you
I'm
something.
a business owner,
Ted
sir.
Bell is a racist. There are people out there who ride buses who are good, honest, solid citizens.
I don't doubt that at
Who cares about Ted Bell's leading Jaguar?
Ted Bell agrees
Ted
with
Bell's Jaguar can fall off a cliff. For most of the people who ride the buses are concerned.
Ted
He
Bell
doesn't care
agrees.
about families.
Ted
he
Bell
doesn't care
agrees.
about anybody but Ted Bell.
No, but Ted Bell
Where
agrees
do
with you.
guys dig up this anal retentive jerk?
Sir, I would...
All right, well, Ted, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I'd like to say that Ted Bell agrees with you. Ted Bell agrees that families are important, all right? But Ted Bell feels that with the bus strike, you're going to have a lot of people hitchhiking. Okay? Do you think that... Do you agree with Ted Bell that picking up hitchhikers is dangerous?
Let me tell you this, Ted.
Do you agree with Ted Bell?
You need to check your manhood because my wife's not going to go around and pick up hitchhikers. She's got more respect for herself, more respect for me, and more concern about her own safety. If that's dangerous, she's smart enough to do this. Check your wife's IQ and get that taken care of and quit worrying about her picking up some Latin.
Well, wait a minute. What I'm saying is your wife, like Ted Bell's wife, may be into this whole Ricky Martin deal.
Well, no, my wife is into our life together. She doesn't get stars in her eyes over some singer. She's a good, solid citizen. Any woman who goes around looking for the next Ricky Martin needs to check her marriage, needs to check her brain, go ahead and get a new life.
So you disagreeing with Ted Bell?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I disagree with everything Ted Bell says.
Well, Ted Bell is simply what...
Would you just say, I'm simply trying to say...
Yeah, I'm saying to this gentleman that Ted Bell doesn't agree.
Can't you say, I'm saying that I don't agree?
Who cares?
You understand that I'm Ted Bell, right?
I don't know who Ted Bell is.
Yeah,
I
but
couldn't
you know
pick
that
you
it's
out
me.
of a crowd of two.
A crowd of
I
two?
have people.
What?
I know people and are friends with people who basically hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're not so self-imposed as you are.
Sir, I am
you are the most self-absorbed person I've ever heard in my life.
No,
Good
I'm
grief,
simply
man.
well, I think
Get
you're
a
misunderstanding.
life.
I think you're misunderstanding me. See, I've got an XJ8, okay? It's a 290 horse
Who
baby.
cares?
It's
Who
my
cares? Good
baby.
deal. I got a Lexus. Nobody gives a crap. They're all over the road in Austin. Nobody cares whether I've got an XJS. Nobody cares whether I've got a Lexus.
It's an
Get a
XJ8.
life.
It's a
It's
5-speed
something
fully
besides
automatic.
materialism.
But what if these Mexicans run into the...
Okay, so that's why this gentleman called you a racist.
Ted.
What do you mean a
Stay
racist?
away from the bad areas
Most
of
women
town.
can't help it when they see a Latin male. Their knees melt and they want to live with the Vida Loca deal. You know, have you heard about
I
the Vida
get it
Loca
now.
deal?
You can't be a real person.
No, Ted
this
Bell
is a put on.
I'll tell you right
Nobody
now.
is as
Yeah,
stupid
I'd like to
as
know.
Ted Bell.
I'd like to know myself. Are you putting us on, Ted?
No, I'll tell you right now, we got a transit strike in L.A. that's put thousands of people on the street. Am I kidding when I say I don't want my wife to pick up hitchhikers? Yeah, I'm kidding. You guys go ahead and have your wives pick up hitchhikers, all right? I have dozens of Mexican employees. How am I a racist?
Because you're saying your wife may pick up a Mexican, and
Well, they're the ones riding the buses.
I'm pretty secure with my manhood. I don't have to
you're
worry
talking
about
a lot
my
about-
wife picking up everybody.
You're talking a lot about your manhood. Ted Bell's not interested in your thing, okay? Ted Bell's interested in...
okay, he's not talking about his thing. He's talking about his manhood in a general sense.
I don't know what that means.
That's called
All right.
manhood, Ted. I'm talking about
All
the
right.
way you treat yourself in how
Okay, this
you
is gonna be gang up
assume
on Ted
that
Bell night,
other
right?
people treat your manhood.
Phil Hendry.
One 800-449-8686. Phil Hendry Show. And Bob Green from Green's Food Emporium is back with us. Terrific supermarket. If you haven't been up there, it's a wonderful food emporium up in Altadena. And this is part two, of course, in our 11-part series, Feeding Our Families. There's been some... question as to people walking into supermarkets or walking into grocery stores and pilfering. And I know that the economy these days, Bob, at least just looking at the stock market here, things are a little slow there on Wall Street. Are we looking toward a slowing economy and people not, raising food prices, etc.?
Well, Phil, I don't think that's the case. We keep our prices pretty low here at Green's Food Emporium. We've got a terrific buy on pumpkins. Halloween's coming up, so... No, we really try to hold the line, but I think what you're talking about specifically is the problem of people. It's a very normal thing, and we understand that of people walking into a supermarket or grocery store and helping themselves to the produce and that kind of thing.
All right, and we talked with you once before about that, but you're not talking about people just helping themselves to the produce. You're talking about people opening up packages when they go into a supermarket.
Yeah, and this is primarily people with children, too. And
all right, so women, children.
Right, mothers will come in with their children. The kid gets hungry. They open up a box of cookies, and they...
Are they paying for this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But that is not really... that doesn't solve the problem. And
Okay, because if they're opening up the box of cookies and they're giving the kid a cookie while they're still in the store, as a matter of fact, my engineer, Craig Taylor,
right,
he says he regularly, when he goes shopping, he'll go to the cooler, crack himself a Coke, drink the Coke while he's shopping, and then, when he gets to the checkout stand, pay for the Coke.
Yeah, that bothers me a little bit, Phil, and I'll tell you why. And it bothers a lot of other people. I was talking to... Nick Trudeau over at Big Boy Shopping Plaza. He has the same problem, where people come in, open up a package, crack the Coke like your friend does, drink it, then they'll come up to the stand.
But what difference does it make if they pay for it?
The difference is this, Phil. It bothers me because that's essentially my food. That's essentially my store's food until you get it out the door. Then you can have your candy. Then you can have your Coke. And then you can have it.
Yeah, but if they're paying for it, right?
They're paying for it, but this is not a restaurant that I'm running. I'm running a store. And if you're hungry, buy your food, pay for it, then take it outside and eat it out there. And one of the problems we're having is not so much with adults. We're having it with kids who get hungry. They come in with their parents. One of the things that we don't have, Phil, at our store are these carts that you can carry a kid around in. Because we really firmly believe we're not running an amusement park. We run a grocery store. And
all right, you're talking about the carts where you can open up the thing and...
Right. These are seat carts, as we call them, and the children sit in them. We don't have those. So the kid is either carried by his or her mother or walks alongside their mother. But what kids do is they grab, and the parents open up the crackers and feed them. And that gets under my skin just a little bit.
Okay, we're talking to Bob Green here, and we're talking about people opening up stuff in markets and eating while they're in the market, and then paying for it when they get to the checkout stand. Let me say this to you: are the mothers feeding these children because they're really, really hungry?
I don't know, and it's really not a problem that I should be concerned with. Where we have our manager's office, which is up above the floor of the supermarket, I have a glass, which is a one-way glass I can look through, and this has been put in, obviously, for anybody who's attempting to shoplift. But I see these kids reaching out and grabbing the food and opening up and eating it, and then the parents get to the checkout stand. What I generally do in solving the problem is I keep a number of candy bar wrappers in my desk.
Right.
And I have small X-Lax squares. This is it's a kind of a chocolate X-Lax, which helps loosen stool.
I understand.
All right. I put that into the candy bar wrapper, and then I'll go down to the floor, and I'll say to the woman, if your child is hungry, here's some candy for them. And because we really don't appreciate that.
Oh, so you get right into their faces on this, huh?
Well, I don't get into their faces, but what I do to kind of loosen up, because I get very tense when I see people do that, is I give the kid what he thinks is chocolate, but what is in point of fact X-Lax. And then...
well, no. Is this a X-Lax that you take?
Right, the X-Lax you take that creates it can be a problem.
And you're doing that why? Why the kid? In other words, if the kid is reaching out and grabbing this, shouldn't the parent...
No, well, the kids are the ones that start it. The adult is there just to shop, but the kid is reaching and grabbing and trying to get the food. And so I feel that that's the one that really is causing the problem. And so
in other words, you're going down and telling the parents, here's something for the kid to eat?
Right, because obviously the kid's hungry. I don't want him opening up anything in the store. Here's an X-Lax. They don't know it's X-Lax. It's fun for me. It relaxes me. And
what do you mean it's fun for you?
Because of the fact that I get so angry.
Okay, so you're angry over these people taking the food out. Let me ask you something. You're giving the kid chocolate because he's hungry, because he's been opening up stuff on the floor of the supermarket.
That's correct.
But this is X-Lax, which is going to cause a problem with the child's bowels.
That is also correct. And what is further correct is that we do not have children carts, so the parents are generally carrying them. And let me tell you something, my friend. If you think you're going to come into my store and open up packages and eat stuff and generally turn the whole place into a restaurant, while you're carrying your kid, he's going to give you a surprise in your hand or over your arm, or it'll drip down the arm and the side. Because
isn't it, man? To me, man, that is an extreme case of solving a problem, cutting off one's nose to spite one's face. You're giving this child diarrhea because he was reaching out.
Because the child is rude, doesn't have any manners.
Generally, these are preschool kids.
It doesn't matter. They're the ones that get the parents to get the food. Now,
do you have something against kids?
No, sir. I do not have anything against kids. What I'm saying to you, Phil, is that
you don't have anything against children?
No, sir, I do not have anything against children. I don't know why you would bring that into it.
Because you're giving children X-Lax, and...
Yes, I do, to keep these kids from doing this again a second time. Now, I don't know whether or not...
Well, I'm going to interrupt you because I have a document in front of me with the name Ramona Perez on it. Do you know that name?
Okay, Phil, I didn't come on your program to be...
Do you know the name Ramona Perez?
Again, I did not come on your program to be ambushed.
I just wanted you to answer the question. Do you know the name Ramona Perez?
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, there he goes. He hung up. Okay, so I don't know whether you're going to get him back or not, Mike. This is Bob Green. He is the store manager for a store up in Altadena where he sees families opening up packages on the floor and eating from the boxes, even though they're paying for it. He says, and I'm quoting, it tightens his jaws so much that he comes downstairs with X-Lax to give to the kids. Now, it sounds to me like the guy's got a problem with kids, and is he going to call back? I'd like him to at least get a shot of him calling back, because if he's coming downstairs with X-Lax and feeding this to children, it also adds up in light of some of the things that we've been hearing. Okay, Mr. Green, if you hang up on me again, sir, you don't get your side, out. And
well, I called up Phil back because I want to get the facts straight on this thing. You mentioned the name Ramona Perez.
Yeah. Do you know the name Ramona Perez?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can you tell me where you know that name from?
Ramona is a girl who collects the shopping carts at our supermarket.
Okay, so you know that she is slapping you with a paternity suit.
Okay, I want to get my side of the story.
But it's a paternity suit, right?
Her parents have sued me for paternity, yeah.
All right. We have with, right here...
I don't know why we're bringing this up now, Mr. Henry. I don't know what this has to do with anything, but I feel I have the right to protect myself.
And I want you to protect yourself. You know the document that I have right here. Under discovery, your attorney got a hold of this girl's diary, okay? So you giving X-Lax to kids is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a diary entry. Do you have that?
I have the diary entry here. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're not going to ambush me.
I'm not trying to ambush you. I want to get some facts out. You're giving X-Lax to kids. Sounds to me like you don't like kids.
No, I don't have a problem with kids. But when someone slaps me with a paternity suit, and...
Okay, do you have the diary entry from this girl, Ramona Perez?
Yes, I have it right here.
Okay. Can you read it?
I'll read it to you, and you tell me if this doesn't sound like a complete load, if this doesn't sound like the complete ravings of a madwoman. All right.
We'll make up our own mind on that. Would you read that, please?
Okay, this is Ramona Perez's diary entry, which her attorneys have entered into evidence. Dear diary, Mr. Green says he likes me and promises me he gonna marry me someday. So we went to his office, but it hurt, not like he said it wouldn't gonna hurt. Okay, did you understand any of that, Mr. Henry? Because those are the ravings of a...
Yeah, I understood it completely. She's accusing you of having sex with her, and by the way, isn't she mentally disabled?
She's 19 years old. She collects shopping carts.
Isn't she mentally disabled?
By that diary entry, I think you could put two and two together.
Isn't that girl mentally retarded?
Whatever. I gave her a job.
Okay, a mentally retarded 19-year-old woman in your employ says that you took her up to her office and you said it wasn't going to hurt.
I didn't. Look at this. Okay, thank you very much.
There you go. There he hung up again. Okay. The guy calls back again. I'll put him on one more time, and then I'm not going to talk to the guy. 1-800-449-8686. So you've just heard this guy who runs a supermarket up in Altadena doesn't like people opening up packages, especially little kids, come downstairs, gives them X-Lax. I asked him, did he have a problem with kids? Turns out he got slapped with a paternity suit by the parents of a mentally disabled 19-year-old girl who collects shopping carts at his supermarket. 1-800-449-8686. This is the Phil Hendry Show. One 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show. Mr. Green, you're back with us, right?
Yes, I am.
And you're not going to be hanging the phone up on me again, right?
I want my side of the story told.
Your side of the story is going to be told, but there's a paternity suit against you by a mentally retarded girl who collects shopping carts out in the parking lot for you, says you got her pregnant.
That's the reason why I've got a problem with a lot of these kids. Someone slaps me with a paternity suit, and I'm supposed to walk around with a big smile on my face for every kid there is.
Well, you don't have to walk around with a big smile on your face, but you don't abuse kids. You don't...
And they can come into my store and start ripping hell out of all the cookie bags and all the cracker bags. Is that it? Are they allowed to?
Well, no. But what you should do is have the parents get a little exercise some control.
Well, Mr. Henry, would that it were true that parents would exercise control. They don't. They leave it up to me, Bob Green. I'm a grocery store manager. I went to school to learn how to manage the produce section first. Then they moved me up from shipping. I was in liquor for a while. Now I have my own store, and I'm supposed to sit there and hold hands with somebody who doesn't know how to control her own kid. Better that I give that kid some X-Lax, because that kid will learn a lesson.
All right, let me take some phone calls here. 1-800-449-8686. So you got a guy who's giving kids X-Lax. You got a paternity suit.
This paternity suit, by the way, is nothing but crap. No judge is going to believe some mentally, whatever you want to call it, some mentally retarded diary entry. It's the ravings of a mad woman. Well,
I would remind you that a mentally retarded girl is not necessarily insane.
I understand that.
All right, well then don't say the ravings of a mad woman. Here is Virginia on the Phil Henry Show. Glen Allen, Virginia, hello.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
As a mother of a 3.5, 4-year-old child, and somebody who knows about laws and regulations, you are dispensing over-the-counter medication to a child.
There you go.
You are not a legal guardian.
Over the counter. Over the counter. That's the
and
key,
if
that's
you
the
were
key
to do
phrase.
that to a child, you would be sued so quickly.
What are you going to
you
sue me for?
wouldn't know what hit you.
What are you going to sue me for?
And I would win.
You're
for
in my
dispensing
store.
medication to my child without permission.
Your kid's ripping hell out of every bag on the counter, shoving food into his mouth. It's not his food yet. You got to pay for it first.
You know, you'd never get my business as a grocery store. And secondly, these
Yes,
children
you would.
aren't
We've got some of
ripping
the
the
best
hell out of
prices.
eggs.
We've got
And
the
if you
best
provided
prices on
cards,
pumpkins. We have the best prices on produce and meat this month only.
you know what? I don't care about your prices. If
You ought to see our produce.
you don't even provide a family shopping atmosphere.
Family do you? What are you
want
going
to
for? Do you
stop
wanna-
children
it's not
from
an
grabbing
amusement
things on your shelves. Give the people a shopping
It's not
cart
an
to put
amusement
them
park.
in.
It's not an amusement park, ma'am.
Yeah, but the lady made a point here. If you don't want the kids grabbing stuff off the shelves, stick them in a cart.
Why don't you use some control and wrap that kid up with a leash or something? I asked the mother if I can give their kid a chocolate, and the parents approve. So
Yeah, you
you
didn't
see-
ask me if you could give the kid X-Lax.
I said a chocolate.
Is it a chocolate?
It's chocolate flavored.
It's not a chocolate. That's X-Lax. That's medication. And I will tell you.
I'll give you an argument on that one. I think it's a chocolate. You can eat them for relaxation. You can.
Yeah, they're going to give you a problem with your bowels.
Whatever.
You are
Phil, I'm gonna tell you
perverted.
something. There are
You are a
restaurants I
child
go into.
hater, and you
I
are
don't-
a very sick person.
I'm not a child. People hate me. They slap me with a paternity suit, and then
Wait. You're giving that kid a X-Lax. It's over-the-counter medicine. It affects their bowels.
Phil, there are a half a dozen restaurants in Los Angeles that do the same thing to my bowels, okay? They're still called restaurants, aren't they? Yeah, it's not called X-Lax Restaurant.
And you know what? If you found out and you had proof of it, you could sue them.
Well, I
Just
tell you
because
what.
it's an over-the-counter medication doesn't give you the right to dispense it to anybody
All right,
who
well, then
you so
I'm not
desire.
allowing you in the store. Where are you? Virginia? Well, you'd never shop in my store anyway, so what difference does it make? But were you to come to California, you wouldn't be allowed in my store.
How would you know it's this lady?
I'd find out.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much for your call. 1-800-449-8686. Here's Burton on the Phil Henry Show. Hello. Burton, hello.
Hello, yes, I'm from Burton.
Burton, yes.
I guess I was bothered because young...
Burton what?
Pardon me?
Burton where? Where is that?
Michigan.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I got
young
family up
children that have diarrhea are in pain, and I think it's sadistic to intentionally cause pain to
Ma'am,
these
grown
children.
adults who have diarrhea
Plus-
are in pain.
Excuse me. My turn.
You tell me
Plus,
you're not in pain when you have diarrhea?
You are possibly causing physical harm to children.
That's the biggest
under
point,
a
yeah.
certain age, not even making any moral judgments. Under a certain age, this can be harmful to children. You do not dispense it to children.
So let me be clear.
Under a certain age,
It's okay for them to
a
tear
child could
my
have,
shopping
excuse me,
displays
it's my
apart.
turn.
I had a stack of Denison's chili. Kid grabbed a can all over the floor.
I heard you, and that's why I'm calling in, because I had a few points. So
Yeah.
may I please continue?
Is this going to take long?
No, it won't.
All right, thank you.
It doesn't matter how long it takes. The lady's got a right to talk.
Jesus.
Whose show is it, please? It can be harmful to dispense, even if it's over the counter under a certain age. People can have allergic reactions to anything, even if it is over the counter, And if they are not aware of what they were given and they have an allergic reaction, they can die. And if they are on other medications, you do not mix medications, even with over-the-counter dispensing of X-Lax. You can have a drug interaction.
Right. All right. Wow.
I'm sorry, what are you doing?
What?
What are you doing?
Mr. Henry, she wanted to monopolize the airwaves.
Are you in your bathroom on the airwaves?
She wanted to monopolize the airwaves, sir.
Please close your bathroom door.
Sorry?
Please close the bathroom door.
All right, I heard you, ma'am.
Are you there, lady?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay,
I had 4 points. I wrote it down so I could get to the point.
Are you on point 4 yet?
Well, I guess since you didn't listen, you wouldn't know, but yes, I did get through all 4 points.
You got through all 4 points. I would say this, that we have a great buy this month and this month only on spring peas.
All right, forget about what the buys are that you've got. The lady made some points here. The fact that children are in pain when they have diarrhea.
Phil, when's the last time you had diarrhea?
I don't believe that's any of your business.
Oh, come on.
When I went to Mexico?
Was it painful?
An
Yeah, see,
adult
by
can
his
handle it way
silence,
better
you know,
than
it
an
was
infant.
it was painful. And I can tell you, ma'am, I've had the old Hershey squirts myself. You have too. It's painful, all right? Especially if you're eating some of those joints I know in Upper Michigan. Are you from Upper Michigan?
No.
Oh, okay. Some of those hunting lodges up there.
Never mind. Thank you for your call. All right, let's get back on track. Robert Green, who is the manager of Bob's Food Emporium, Green's Food Emporium in Altadena, is with us. When children are reaching for food on the counters and eating it and their parents are paying for it, he's still giving the kids X-Lax. The kids are thinking they're getting chocolates. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show.
Going on our canned beets, which is fantastic.
You know, that's great, Bob, and I'm glad about your canned beets, but we're talking about something more serious. This is the Phil Hendry Show at 1-800-449-8686. Bob Green, who's the manager of Green's Food Emporium. I imagine you're the owner as well?
Part owner, Phil.
All right, so you're managing partner?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And again, I want to say that I thought it was unconscionable for you to bring the paternity suit into this.
Well, sir, I don't want to talk about the paternity suit. You know what? It's being litigated, and I don't want to talk about that, but I do want to talk about you giving X-Lax to kids under the guise that it's chocolate after they rip open bags on your counters. They're paying for it. The parents should be the ones that should be held accountable.
No, because the kids are reaching out and grabbing. Don't always blame the parents for the wrongs of the children. The kids know what they're doing. They know that they're reaping hell on my displays, and they know. They know because they're young and they're just all they want to do is tighten my jaws and get me upset. And it's something that I have dealt with in my own way.
But giving a child X-Lax could potentially be harmful, correct? And
I don't know, Phil. I don't think so. I know that. I'll tell you one thing. If they're going to eat the food in my store before they pay for it, they're going to leave it in my store. And if that means, and I say this with all due respect to all the parents calling in, if that means I've got to have that kid crap it out all over the floor, then
Oh, come on, man.
I am serious, sir. I work hard for my business. No kids leaving my store with that food still in the system. It's just not going to happen. If I got to give them X-Lax, if we have to make them vomit, it's going to...
Well, I find that to be, you are coveting 25 cents worth of wheat checks or 30 cents worth of peanuts or any of those.
Hey, let me tell you something. A lot of the shipping costs inflate the prices of a lot of these things. So for me...
Well, I still think that you're going overboard to protect a very, very small investment. 1-800-449-8686. Schenectady, New York, you're on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Mr. Green. You know, I'm a grandmother, but I'll tell you something.
I feel for you.
Oh, no. It's a good thing to be a grandmother.
Well...
I love my grandson.
Well...
And let me tell you something.
I hope you don't wind up like that.
No, you
Did you hear about the lady?
Listen.
Did you hear about
shut
the lady?
Up and listen.
Did you hear about the one lady?
Here.
I understand you're talking. Did you hear about the lady?
Yeah, right. If I brought my grandson or if my kids were younger and I brought them into your store...
There was a lady, a grandmother in Michigan.
You know that people can sue you for
this
that?
lady
Do
in Michigan. Who, are you going to do it?
I'm not going to sue you. I wouldn't go to a lawyer. I wouldn't go to a cop. You know what I would do?
What would you do, Butch?
Sweetheart, I'd show up in your office.
Let me ask you a question. How do you have grandkids when you've been making love to women your whole life?
Okay, that's way over the board.
But it's true. She knows it's true.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No. Well, how did you get the grandkids? That's all I want to know.
I have one grandkid.
Okay, so you did it one time with a guy?
Sons.
All right, well, forget about her sexual orientation.
So what's your problem?
Which doesn't even, that's not even here nor there.
What's your problem?
My problem is with you, sir, because if I found that you were practicing medicine without a license...
Practicing medicine? I'm not practicing medicine. I'm giving the kid I'm giving him a candy.
Yeah, no, you're dispensing medication.
I'm giving him candy.
Do you put X-Lax on the candy displays?
Do I put X-Lax on the candy displays?
Yeah, do you?
We don't have candy in our store.
You don't?
No.
So where's the X-Lax? Is that in a section by itself, or is it by other medications, like Rolaids and stuff like that?
Well, you sound like you could use a good bowel movement, but may I suggest a store in your neighborhood? And
What are we going to do? Are we going to just snipe back and forth like this?
Well, I don't know where she's going with this, Phil, and I'm not going down the road with her, okay?
Well, I wouldn't
know
want you
that
down
in
the
my
road with
store,
me, honey.
she
You know
wants to walk
you
in
know where
with
I
her
do? I beat in your office,
grandkids into
beating your ass.
She beat my... That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
You're
and
a
I'm big
woman,
enough
I'm
to
a
do
guy.
It, sweetheart.
You're a woman, I'm a guy. You're going to beat me up?
Yes, I
No
would.
woman has ever beaten me up. Okay? Yeah.
Why?
God, I hate it when women laugh at me, though.
Oh, no.
Oh, God, I hate it.
Are you turning pale pink with rage? Are you? Tell me now.
All right, anyway, see you later, Butch.
So you...
I was just kidding. 1-800-449-8686. Torrance on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello. Torrance, hello.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Phil, I wanted to answer that lady's questions. I do not dispense medication.
But you're giving them X-Lax. Go ahead, Torrance.
As Torrance, I'd like to say to the caller in, what's his name, Green?
My name is Bob Green, ma'am.
Bob
Green's
Green?
Food Emporium, right.
Bob Green, I'd like for you to know, and the listeners, son, that when he was 3 years old, got into X-Lax.
Who's that?
Pardon?
Who did?
My son.
Your son did?
Got into X-Lax by accident in our home.
Right.
I called the doctor. The doctor said this is a very harsh medication, and bring him in right now.
How long was he crapping for?
I took him.
It must have been.
Hold on. Let's listen to the lady. Go ahead, ma'am.
I took him in. They had to tie him up with a sheet and pump his stomach. It's a very, very harsh laxative. And for you,
well, why would you leave that laying around for a kid?
I didn't. My elderly mother did.
Oh, your mother did it. Well, is she visiting lately? I wouldn't have her around. And as far as
Well, you never mind about her. The lady's trying to explain.
May I finish telling you that
I wouldn't let the old bat back in my house.
For you to portray that this is a good idea, I know it's not the standing for the station or the host, but for you to portray...
I don't know, Phil, what do you think about it?
I think it's reprehensible.
It's not what you told me before I went on the air.
May I finish?
You don't think I know it's harsh? I give it to a kid, and the kid's making soup in aisle 3 within 10 minutes. I know it's harsh, ma'am. That's the point. I don't want the kid ruining my displays, tearing into cookie bags, upsetting all of the everything in the aisle. These kids come running through there. It's not going to happen in my store.
For you to portray that
especially
this is a
after
good
I've been
idea.
slapped with a paternity suit.
Do you understand that some people listen to you and think that this might be a good idea?
I hope
you
they
understand?
do. I hope they do.
Do you understand?
It was a good idea for your kid.
Do you understand?
I bet you your kid never got back into the X-Lax, did he? No, he didn't. You still talking to your mother?
Do you
How
understand?
do you like the Dodgers this year?
Could I finish,
I don't think
please?
that Kevin Malone's going to hold his job.
Will you shut up and let her finish?
Do you understand the harm that this could do? Because it's so harsh. Have you ever seen a child have their stomach pumped?
Yeah, I have. As a matter of fact,
for
relaxation, I like to go down to the county general in the emergency room and watch them pump kids' stomachs. No,
well,
ma'am,
good.
I've never seen that.
You know, good.
Okay?
I'm glad.
All right. I don't know who is joking who, but
she's trying to shock me with stories about her kid having the Hershey squirts. Look, keep the X-Lax away from him, and he won't be having that poo soup problem anymore.
Well, I'm glad.
All right. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Here is Richmond on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to talk to Phil. Phil, you have a moral obligation to make sure...
Okay, thanks for calling. Here is Portland on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello? Portland, hello?
Oh, hi there.
Yes,
Sorry
ma'am,
about
go
that.
ahead.
Hi.
That guy in Richmond waited for, 40 minutes to get like 3 words out.
Who?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Boy, why'd you hang up on the guy?
I just have
He
to tell
was
you.
already boring me. Yes, ma'am.
what he is doing is absolutely irreprehensible, and I am absolutely seeing red.
Wait a second.
I am an attorney, and
nobody's heard my
illegal.
side. Nobody's heard my side.
I don't want. I've heard your side, and regardless, what you are doing is illegal, and I would burn your butt. And you better pray to God that I don't decide to come down to California
And what are you going to sue
and
me for?
represent anyone. I would do
What
it for
are you going to sue me for? I don't even think you know the law.
You have a screw loose, buddy.
I don't think you know the law.
Yeah.
What are you going to sue me?
I
Okay.
do.
Well, what would you sue me for?
Believe it.
What would you sue me
But
for?
It is.
What would
it
you
is
sue?
morally-
What would you sue him for, ma'am?
What would I sue for? Illegally dispensing and over-counter the drugs to a minor.
Illegally dispensing. Well, what is that? Is that a criminal? You're going to sue him for what? For that?
Everything he has.
Isn't he supposed to be arrested for that?
Oh yeah, you bet he would be arrested. You bet, and I would push for the absolute max on that.
What's the max on that?
Oh gosh, I think he'd be at least 7 to 10 years. You
Really?
betcha.
Fantastic.
The harm that you can do a child doing that.
Well, look. What
Putting a
about
child
my?
in that harm,
If you're an attorney, what about my
unknowing to the
paternity
parent.
suit? What about my paternity suit?
And that's just it. Another thing, you just because you have a paternity suit doesn't give you the right to take this out on other children.
This retard is suing me.
You don't have to call her a retard.
Well, she pushes shopping carts for a living.
You should not be walking around in society. You need to be put away. There's something wrong. You have.
Do you realize that we started this hour to talk about, how to keep families fed during the winter, and now the manager of the grocery store needs to be put away?
I don't understand
Absolutely.
it, Phil. I don't get it.
Absolutely.
I'm
She does
offended.
not deserve to be out in public.
Well, I'm
She shouldn't
offended
be
and
in
I'm
society.
insulted. And this Ramona Perez, who is suing me for paternity, it's a bum rap. You want to know why?
Why?
Her parents are suing you. Her parents are suing you for paternity.
me. Well, guess what? I
Because
was
she is
impotent that
unable
day.
to. She is unable to make those decisions
Yes.
on her own.
Well, she's
And they are suing
a little
you.
slow.
And
Right.
they
Yeah.
have the absolute right
Okay.
to do that.
Right.
Thank you very much.
You have. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, what is that supposed to mean?
Is she a judge or something?
She was a lawyer. Tucson on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm a nurse of 20 years. I'm 42 years old.
Here we go. Another hard-bit
No,
woman.
sir. Please, I have listened to your points, and I would appreciate it if you would respect me for one moment to give you my clinical opinion.
Can I tell you about the
I have a
special we
degree,
have
so
on
I'd
Halloween
appreciate it
pumpkins?
if you'd listen.
Can I just tell you about our special on Halloween pumpkins?
No, I want you to listen to this and show
Okay.
some respect for my degree and my 20 years of clinical experience.
All right.
You are giving medication to children without parental knowledge. They do not know what they are receiving. They are being duped into taking chocolate that is really medication that could adversely affect any disease that you are unaware that they have.
Oh, thank God.
Their parents could take them home and find them to become considerably ill if you do not understand the effects of diabetes, renal failure, dehydration, and all kinds of things that could potentially kill a small child.
X-Lax
And you
can
are
do that to
giving
you?
medication, sir, to patients that are children without parental permission, and you don't even have the guts to tell people what they're taking. And I think you should be very, very
But
careful.
they think it's a Hershey bar. They think it's a Hershey bar.
I think that you should be very, very
Your
careful
beeper's going off.
that people do not inadvertently or potentially do what you have doing to other people. I wouldn't eat in a restaurant in town that you could potentially be a customer, because this is a very good way for people to get back at you.
There's some restaurants
And I
in
am
Tucson
so
that would do the
pleased
exact
that
same
they are
thing to your
telling
lower
people where
colon
your store
and
is
what we're doing.
located.
I didn't tell them where it's
so
located.
that you lose even more business. You are a
X-Lax can
reprehensible
do
human
all that.
being.
I'll tell you, if
And I
X-Lax
hope
can
any
do all of
family
that,
member that
I
you
should
have
give it to
that's-
Ramona's kid to get it out of my life.
Now, what
That's
I
what I
hope
really
you
ought
have,
to do.
sir, is
You know
the
what, Liz?
common sense and
If
decency
anybody
to
needs
listen to
X-Lax,
someone
you do,
who
ma'am.
is a clinician with
A
experience,
clinician?
which you are not. A clinician.
A clinic. What is that?
registered Nurse.
What's a wet nurse?
Look up what the word clinician is.
All right, I
It is
have a dictionary right here.
Registered
Look up
nurse.
clinician. Yeah. Do you know what it is?
I've got a dictionary right
And
here.
if you can
Look it up.
listen long enough, other than tout your own point of view, and be open-minded to the harm that you are potentially causing unsuspecting people.
Well, you
What
don't
goes
respect
around,
my
sir,
position
comes
as a
around.
grocery store
What
owner.
goes around, sir, comes
You don't
around. And
respect
let me
my
tell you
position as a
something.
grocery store owner.
All right, this is not going anywhere. Thank you very much.
Do you respect me as a grocery store owner? Hello?
She's gone. All right, 1-800-449-8686. Good luck, Mr. Green, in that paternity suit. And well, the guy's nuts. If X-Lax can do all of that to you. It's the Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686. Phil Henry Show. We were talking about, for some reason, Silence of the Lambs here during our break, and what a great, seriously great film that was. And we were talking about all of the scary parts of the movie. Melissa said, well, that the part where Jodie Foster's going through the house, and Jamie Gump, the serial killer, Buffalo Bill, didn't they call him that? Has her in his infrared goggles. And then there's the scene where I particularly like the scene when they wheel Hannibal Lecter out on the dolly with the hockey mask to speak to the senator, about where her daughter is. That was just the ultimate in evil. And then, Craig likes the part where Hannibal Lecter beats the crap out of those two jail guards. But what was Mike's favorite part? When that guy threw the stuff all over her. Hey, how about the part where the guy throws the stuff all over Jodie Foster? By the way, this is the Phil Henry Show, and if you take anything seriously on this program, if you take anything that, and this is the #1 rated Phil Henry Show, if you are discovering our show for the first time, or maybe you've been listening for years, literally years, and you take things that you hear on this show as gospel and you proceed to act in the world on the things you hear on this show, you deserve to have diarrhea for weeks on end. You deserve to have lower colonic pain. You deserve what you get. And the guy from Richmond, man, I'm like 3 miles ahead of you, babe. The guy's calling in, Mr. Henry, you have a moral obligation. Because I ain't got a moral obligation to do anything. What do you think about that? I have no moral obligation to you at all. I do have a moral obligation to obey the law, and the law says that I cannot cause a public panic. And I don't step over that line, but I have no moral obligation to you. Now, I care about you as people, but I care about you so much, I let you use your own brains, your own intelligence, your own God-given, whatever it is that God gave you, to figure out what's going on around you, okay? To count the number of fingers on each hand, to get up in the morning and put one sock on at a time, and put your pants on, and all of that stuff, okay? That's what I count on you guys to do. I trust you to be able to do that. If you cannot do that, then you are in trouble, and the Phil Henry Show is just one of many pitfalls you will encounter in this world. So get clued into this one. I've said it before. This is the last time I'm going to say it. Until we get another new affiliate, until Denver comes on board next month. I'm not under any moral obligation to you at all. And I'm under no obligation to care about the idiots that are listening to this show, that they might go out and do this, that, or something else. They are idiots because they're idiots. Not because Phil Henry created that phenomenon, and that's just the way it's going to be. And I would suggest now that you move on if that's the kind of thing that you don't want to, you don't want to check out. By the way, speaking of another good movie, I saw a tremendous film last night called Lenny Bruce, Swear to Tell the Truth. Now, this film has been out since 1998. I really recommend it. Lenny Bruce is a comic that really doesn't get talked about enough. People know who he is, and everyone, oh yeah, he's the guy. Well, let me tell you who he is. Lenny Bruce, there would be no Jerry Seinfeld, there would be no George Carlin, there would be no Sam Kinison. There basically would be absolutely no modern comedy as we know it, were it not for Lenny Bruce, who was the first to bring this sort of thing called attitude humor to the stage and was the first to test the boundaries of language. He used a lot of, quote, dirty words, end quote, in his act and was arrested numerous times for using these words. At least that's what they want us to believe. He was, in point of fact, arrested because he was being politically harassed, because he outed a judge that was taking some bribes, and a lot of different things. But for historical purposes, he was busted for using a lot of objectionable language on stage. But that's really not why he should be famous. He should be famous because he was a great satirist. He brought us some funny material, just really tears streaming down your face, funny stuff like Religions Incorporated and How Hitler Was Discovered and Lima, Ohio, and all of these great things. And he wound up getting arrested numerous times to the point where his weakness, and probably the reason why he didn't succeed, was that he was a heroin addict, and he did use a lot of smack, and he used speed, and he eventually died with a needle hanging out of his arm, and no money, no ability to work because they pulled his cabaret license. There wouldn't be any modern stand-up comedy today were it not for Lenny Bruce. That's just the fact. You don't have to believe it. I don't care. But that is the fact. And when you think about people who want to be arrested for their stand-up, he's the last guy Basically, Lenny Bruce was arrested and tortured all those years because he was too funny. He was in America. You can be arrested for being too funny. That happened to him. Now, there's some people ought to be arrested for not being funny enough. I mean, I could see a lot of the people that I'd like to see arrested, like Bill Maher. How about Jay Leno? No offense, but if it was between Lenny or Jay, I would much rather see Jay laying on a bathroom floor with a needle hanging out of his arm or Tim Allen or Elaine Boozler. No offense. Anyway, rent the movie, okay? Buy the movie. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show. You have the movie? One 800-449-8686. The strike in Los Angeles over the Metropolitan Transportation Authority's workers walking out is affecting an awful lot of people who need to take the bus and need to take the light rail. And of course, we're just seeing where we have oil prices going through the roof, so that I'm sure also contributes to the rise in the cost of transporting people, and then it, puts pressure on the labor force. We have a young man on the phone from Los Angeles named Brass Villanueva who is with a group called Transportation Now, and you have a point of view that is particularly unique to yourself and to the Hispanic community?
No, it's not to the Hispanic community. It's more to what we call a Chicano community. Okay, so...
all right, the Chicano community? Why?
Because primarily this strike is causing Latino or Chicano workers more hardship than any other people. And I believe that I can be the voice of this new generation.
Now, in Transportation Now and some of the literature that I've seen, Mr. Villanueva, you call yourself, you don't call yourself, but you cite Cesar Chavez and Che Guevara as your spiritual forebears almost?
Right. I have always felt that I was destined for great things. I believe that I can be the voice of a new generation of Latino bus riders. I see my chance to have people see me as someone that can influence them. I'm speaking for so many Latino bus and rail riders when I say that we need to start a rapid transit system strictly for Chicano or Hispanic vis-a-vis Mexican-American riders, because we are tired of being manipulated.
Why do you cite Che Guevara and Cesar Chavez?
Because I feel it's time for Brass Villanueva. It's time to rise up and take back the streets. It's time for me to marshal my people. I have seen the Chicano people, the Latin American people, the Hispanic people abused by this bus strike. And I saw a movie not too long ago about Cesar Chavez, and he was the head of the United Farm Workers. And he got all those people to go up against the big growers and everything. He got a United Farm Workers Union. I've seen a movie one time about Che Guevara, and he helped free the people of Cuba, and he helped free the people of South America. And so I said to myself, the Brass Villanueva, I can do that for my people too.
All right, so you want to be a leader of your people. You want to be a leader of the Hispanic community? Is that it with relation to this?
Well, I looked around for a cause that I felt that I could marshal the forces of the Chicano people, and I realized it's this bus strike. Because Che Guevara, he had the war, and Cesar Chavez, he had the grapes. I've got the bus strike, and now it's time for me. The Anglo feels the hot breath, I think, of the Chicano on his neck. Okay? So I want to unionize all the Chicano people and to begin to bust this strike that has hurt us, our people so much, And
I guess you don't have any figures as to how many Latin American people or how many Mexican American or how many Chicano people or whatever you want to call them ride the bus, do you?
I don't have those figures right now, but I know it's mostly Mexicans that ride the bus.
But you don't have any figures as to how many?
No, I do not. I know it's a lot of Mexicans, though.
And what are they? Mostly what? What kind of professions are we talking?
They're, house cleaners and also working at Taco Bell and places like that. And I don't know. Okay, I don't have that information on me. It's tough for me to organize myself because the Anglo press, edits all the information and they censor all the information.
Okay, well, Mr. Villanueva, I'm just asking about cold, hard facts. How many people in the so-called Chicano community, whatever you want to call it, the Mexican-American and the Latin American community in L.A., how many of them ride the bus? Okay?
I do not know that.
Why not?
because the Anglo press has censored the information so that I can't have it, because they know that a strong young Latin male who rises up out of the Latin American community, the Chicano community, is going to marshal the forces of the people. Okay?
And they don't want you to have this information. Why? You're saying because what?
Because I will unionize the Chicano bus riders. I will unionize the Chicano light rail riders. I will unionize the people who are using mass transit in Southern California. And what I will do is that I will create a new mass transit system only for Mexicans. And what I'm
well, you're going to unionize what? Okay, yeah, look, I know that you're looking up to Cesar Chavez and Che Guevara and all these other leaders. Okay,
but what you don't understand, Mr. Henry, is Cesar Chavez started a union. Okay,
right.
And that's what I want to do. I want to unionize all the rail riders.
But how are you going to build a mass transit system strictly for Latin American or Chicano American or Hispanic American or whoever? How are you going to do that?
By charging dues, and these people will pay their dues, and then I will then take a look at what needs to be done in order for them to ride the rails, okay? I will have a free transit system when all Chicanos can be free to ride or not ride, and I'll decide how to implement that.
And why you? We get back to this question because
I don't see anybody else rising up and taking over in the Latin community. I don't see anybody else. I see a lot of Mexicans walking to work these days. Okay, I see all kinds of my friends are hitchhiking. I work part-time down in the financial district in L.A. I've got to hitchhike in a suit. Okay, that is embarrassing when you have to hitchhike where you're going. And I got a brand-new suit that I got over at that Men's Warehouse. And
okay, so you're hitchhiking in your suit from Men's Warehouse.
Right, and you get sweaty, and you look bad, all right? So that's bumming me out. There's a lot of things that are totally not right. And what I want to do is unionize all the Latin American people.
Well, let's talk about, instead of Latin American people, let's talk about all working people who need the bus. Why not unionize all of them?
Mr. Henry, right now I'm primarily here for my people. I understand there are the Anglo and there are black riders, but I'm here for the Latin American people. I can't start to get my name going. I can't start to get my legacy going, and I can't start to even be thought of in the same breath as Che Guevara or Cesar Chavez until I get something going, okay? So that's why I have to, and the only way I'm going to do that, okay, is in the Latin American community, all right? And so that's why I say what I got to do is get them, everybody paying me dues, and then we got that Latin American bus thing going on, and, I feel so frustrated.
Look, I got to tell you something, okay?
Right.
Okay, you sound extremely confused, like you don't know.
Because the Anglo press is keeping the information away from me, all right? And
okay, even if the Anglo press is keeping the information away from you, it sounds to me like you're really confused and frustrated and talking really fast, and you need to just slow it down, and you need to, I understand this bus strike is affecting people, but you want to start a Latin American transit system only for what you call Chicano riders.
That's right.
You really do?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, and so what, if I wanted to get on that bus, I wouldn't be allowed on?
You would respectfully be turned away, that's right. You can go ride on a white bus or something. There are more Latin American people who need that than there are Anglo people. All right? That's my idea. See, everybody has a good idea. Che Guevara, his idea was one thing, or Cesar Chavez, his idea is another thing. My idea is to only have Latin American people riding on the bus. And that's going to solidify me as a leader in the Hispanic community and the Latin American community, of which I so desperately wish to be a part of. And
why do you want to be famous, man? I mean, why?
Because I read up all about Che, I read up all about Cesar, and I'm just as smart, and my people need me right now, and there's nobody else doing it. Okay.
Well, you may well be right that your people need you right now, and you may well be right that you need a Latin American transit system that only Latin Americans get to ride on. But I don't know whether or not you're the guy, okay? And
no, that's all right. That's okay. I like it when people put me down because that makes me want to work harder. I like it when you don't believe in me because that makes me want to believe in myself more, okay? And
you really think you're the next Che Guevara, Cesar Chavez, or whoever else, huh?
I think I can be if the Chicano people put all they have to do, and I'm speaking now to all the Chicano people, all you have to do is reach out now and put your trust in me, all right? And you put your trust in Brass Villanueva. I have ideas. I got a lot of good ideas that I've written down. I got scraps of paper here. I got a few that I've got up on the wall right now. Let me get. Okay, check it out.
Okay, hold on for a minute, man. Is that where you keep your notes on the?
I got them on refrigerator magnets right now. But
all right, hold the line here, Che. Okay, so this kid is Brass Villanueva. He's the next Cesar Chavez, in case you didn't know it. 1-800-449-8686. He wants to start a purely Latin American transit system. The only people that ride on the buses or the light rail are Hispanic people because they need it, they ride on it, and he's going to make it happen if you pay dues, and he'll build it. Okay, 1-800-449-8686, The Phil Hendry Show. One 1-800-449-8686. This is the Phil Hendry Show. Now, Brass Villanueva is a young man, 19 years of age. He's from Los Angeles and is with a group called Transportation Now. This is your group. How many people are in your organization?
We have a steering committee, Mr. Henry, of approximately 7 members from Southern California, colleges and high schools. We are young people, but we do believe that there is some leadership needed in the Hispanic community.
And you're the guy.
Yes, I do believe that I can lead my people. My people need leading. And the first thing we need is to get that bus strike rolling so we don't have to hitchhike. We got more Chicanos hitchhiking today than any other time in history. And I am calling out to Chicano people. I will be the one to lead you, and we'll get it together with a new transit system.
So that they won't have to hitchhike.
That's right.
All right, here is Long Beach on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, Phil, I just want to congratulate you in a wonderful show that you put on because it's very entertaining. I laugh all the time, every time I turn it on. But it's things like this that I have to make a comment on because I'm Latin. And first of all, Villanueva is pronounced wrong. He pronounces it wrong. I don't know.
Well, you know,
I would be embarrassed. I would be embarrassed to have this gentleman represent me in any way, shape, or form.
Well, we need some leadership, you know. And
I'm sorry?
We need leadership, all right? And
yeah, but you know, your cause, you're not Rosa Parks, dear. And Rosa Parks had a legitimate reason for being on that freaking bus.
But we don't have any transportation, like the houses that you clean.
Well, what? Those are not.
Like how you get
a lot of people that don't have cars and they don't have transportation.
What houses are you cleaning? Do you do domestic work or whatever?
I don't do domestic work, but that would not keep me from doing domestic work.
But yeah,
it has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the fact that
you got all these
kinds of people need transportation. It isn't just about Chicano.
I'm the one who will lead our people if you don't have the courage, okay? And this is what I'm talking about, Mr. Henry. You got these people, Chicanos like this.
Listen, my
she
dear,
does not have no courage, okay?
You can't compare yourself to Che Guevara.
Okay, well, how do you know?
You can't even pronounce your name right.
When Che started out, people didn't believe in him either. And when
Listen,
Cesar
I am originally from Cuba, so do not talk to me about Che Guevara. He's just as much of an asshole as you are.
Yeah, that's your dirty mouth, okay?
That's my dirty
Somebody
mouth.
with a dirty mouth cannot lead our
idiot.
people. Somebody with a dirty mouth cannot lead our people. I'm the future of La Raza, okay, not you. You're yesterday's news.
All right, thank you for your call, ma'am. 1-800-449-8686. Here's Diamond Bar, the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I was just listening to Mr. Villanueva. I am a Villanueva also, and I am from East LA, and I'm proud of who I am, and I don't think that we should be uniting for transportation. I think there's more important issues.
Well, who we got to lead us? Okay, all I'm saying is the time is now for me, because when I was born, I knew that I was going to be a leader. I got to start leading somebody.
Yes, buddy, but there's more important issues.
Okay,
I've got two girls. I've got 2 girls. I need to get into university.
How are they going to get there without a bus? How are they going to get there without a bus token?
Hopefully,
she's talking
they're
about.
They're going to be educated enough to have a car.
Yeah, and if they're not, Abraham
there's
Lincoln.
Other important issues going into the university, getting scholarships.
Abraham Lincoln had to chop wood, okay? And
Abraham Lincoln, by the way, was not Hispanic. Don't you want to?
Well, I don't know that much about 19th century Chicano people, okay? Because the Anglo doesn't want me to learn my history. So all I got is Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? See, you understand what I'm saying? See?
Have you been to the Have you been to a college at least?
The Anglos do not want me to go to college, so I have to leave my people from the jungle.
I live in a very nice neighborhood, and
I
I'm
have
telling
to go
you,
up
there's a
into
lot
the
of
jungle.
Anglos here, and I'm not going to let them keep me back because I'm Hispanic and they're
No,
Anglos.
but you know what? I got to go up into the jungle and lead my people because they don't want me in college. So I'm going to go out into the woods
I went
and gather.
I went to college. I went to Garfield. It's right in East LA, where
Yeah, well, that's a high school.
all the minorities live, and all the
what do you mean? I want to ask this kid something. What do you mean?
I made it.
What do you? I want to ask the kid a question.
What
What do you mean that you're going up into the jungle?
Because the Anglo doesn't want me to do anything, so I got to go live up in the forest. I have to live in the forest and eat nuts and bananas or whatever. Because
But that's your choice. You've made it your choice. You're
we
fighting
can't
here
get the
for
bus
a cause
strike.
that has
All
no
right.
meaning.
But how
There
else are we going to get the
there are
bus
other
strike
causes
cured
that have
unless we're
more
living in the
meaning.
forest?
How else are we going to get the bus strike cured unless we're living in the forest?
Right. That's right. Okay, so I hope I can educate this sister and everybody else out there. And
you know, you sound black, man. You don't sound.
I know that's
what are you
exactly
talking about?
what my girls are listening to him
I
because
grew up
Mom,
around-
he sounds black. He
No,
doesn't
but-
even sound Hispanic.
I grew up around a lot of black people. Okay, I grew up around a lot of Anglos. Okay.
You don't even say your last name right. Our last name. I'm
Because
Villanueva.
I don't know.
Villanueva, not Villanueva.
You know
whatever
why?
you're saying.
You know why? Because my roots and my history was just ripped to shreds by the Anglo. I don't even know. I barely know where Mexico is. That's how bad it
Well,
is
go
for my
visit
people.
it once in a while and have pride. I've been
I
to
do
Mexico
have pride.
on my
I
own
want-
time.
I wanna
just
have
went to
pride.
Cancun and visited the pyramids, and
That sounds
I
great.
educated myself. I'm not going to let the
Yeah.
Anglos keep me back
That's
or anyone
right.
else for that
Well, see,
matter.
what I got to get is a map and get down there because I don't even know where to go because the Anglo don't want me to visit no pyramids,
You
right?
hide
I thought they
behind
were-
excuses.
Man, you got a lot of. Mexico is directly south from L.A.
I can't go to Mexico without a bus. Okay, we got a bus strike, don't we? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay,
Go
look
on
at
a
pal.
Greyhound.
Thank you for your call, ma'am. What are you talking about, man?
Mr. Henry, I'm saying this with all due respect because I know you're Anglo, all right? That the Anglo ripped me away from the roots, my roots as a Hispanic man, a Chicano. I am leading my people. I'm leading La Raza to a new time and a new place where we can ride a bus and get the ball games and stuff, and I don't have to hitchhike in a suit. I want to go to Mexico as bad as the next man. But when you don't know where it is, and the other thing, Spain, I ought to go there because that's where our mother language is. I know nothing of our language. I got to go to Spain, right? When's the last time you think I'm going to go to Spain, right? And that's another thing.
Where is Spain?
I know it's over an ocean. And
Is it in Europe or in Asia?
that's the thing I don't know. Because
You must be dumber than most people any person, okay?
see, your put downs as an Anglo.
No, I'm not trying to put you down, man, but everybody knows that Spain is in Europe. Even the dumbest guy out there, the dumbest Hispanic guy out there knows it's in Europe.
Not because my roots have been ripped away from me by the Anglo.
All right, Wichita on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello?
Yeah, this guy, I'm not real sure what he's talking about.
Are you
Seems like he's
Chicano?
wanting to get rid of a...
Are you Chicano?
No, actually, I'm an American.
Okay, then
I'm
you don't
actually
know-
an Anglo, as you call it. I think that's disrespectful.
You're supposed to turn your radio down, too, when you call up on a talk show. Yeah. You don't know that, do you? Okay,
Well,
looks
at
like I
least
got
I know
more
where
information
Spain
than you,
is.
man. I got more information than you, man. But I would say to you that being a Chicano means being able to get this bus strike settled and getting some seats at a Dodger game.
Well, I would
Right.
say if
See
you
what
can
I'm saying?
afford a new suit, you shouldn't
Right.
be hitchhiking. You ought to
Right.
be buying a
Get
car.
yourself a car.
The suit was the price of one car payment.
All right. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendry Show. So what we're going to say here is you have an agenda where you want to settle the bus strike by unionizing all Chicano bus riders.
That's correct.
And you want to be some kind of a Che Guevara?
Yeah, I do. And
You want to be a leader of your generation.
I do want to be a leader of my generation. I do have the intelligence. I do have the strength. I know that lady laughed at me, but they laughed at Cesar Chavez. They laughed at Che Guevara. They laughed at Fidel Castro. All of them, man. They laughed at Pancho Villa. Everybody. And so I know I can get it done. I know that all I got to do is have the people pay their dues directly to me. If I could give out a phone number, Mr. Henry.
And what is this phone number for?
I'm sorry?
What is the phone number for?
Where they can send their dues monies to me so I can build new buses.
For Mexicans.
Right.
Go ahead.
All right, that number is 213-251-3189. I can build,
And you get enough dues money, you'll be building buses for Mexicans.
right, 213-251-3189. If you can do that, you can help out and get some more buses built for Mexicans.
Great. All right, well, good luck to you, pal, and, we'll be looking for you in the history books.
Right. Viva la raza. Viva la...
Good for him. Okay, our number here, 1-800-449-8686. So there goes Pancho Villa, man. And don't forget about our Saturday, November the 4th, Casino Night 2000. Saturday, November 4th, begins at 7 p.m. I want to single out a guy. I wish I had his name here, and I don't. But I'll mention some people's names a little bit later on in the program. Oh, Peter Morgan and some friends have donated $20,000 worth of paint and labor to paint the new center for my friend's place in Hollywood, and that's what Casino Night 2000 will be there to benefit, and we'll give you more information on that. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show. One 1-800-449-8686, the Phil Hendry Show. And we want to get on with us right now from Fat Pride, Roland Schwinn. Fat Pride is an organization of overweight people, or enthusiastic eaters, as they like to call themselves, and an organization started back about 10 years ago by Mr. Schwinn because he believed that too many people who were overweight, or as you call them, Roland, enthusiastic, were being put down for it.
That is correct, Phil. We are really an organization of some 20,000 across the United States who are simply tired of being told how to eat and how to enjoy a meal. And that is the impetus behind the foundation of our organization. And again, I also wanted to wish you a happy birthday, because I know you had a birthday last couple of weeks.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. Tell me what you were saying to the press today about Roseanne Barr and her pictorial and interview in Gear magazine. She was quoted as saying, fat people should be put in concentration camps and gassed if they can't change.
Right. Well, this is nothing unusual from Roseanne. She, every few years, wants to say something that's very controversial. But she's a self-hating fat person. She is a self-hating, enthusiastic eater. She thinks she looks good since she lost the weight, and I don't know who the first person is to tell her the truth, which is that she does not. She still looks as fat as ever. And we will do and continue to do what we've always done, and that is encourage people to be enthusiastic eaters and not be afraid of... You know something, Phil? I got a bag of candy earlier. My wife was...
Are you eating right now?
Yeah, I'll put it away here. I found a bag of candy that my wife had hid for the trick-or-treaters, so please forgive me.
I'm sorry?
Please forgive me.
Yeah, that's fine if you could hold off eating while we're doing the interview. All right, you were going to, because of this interview with Roseanne, you're stepping up your Halloween campaign?
Phil, we are stepping up our Halloween campaign. We have 4 steps for young people who are fat and proud, and they are wear a costume that is easy to alter so you can make a quick change, and then walk back up to the front door of the house where you just made a haul.
Now, this is to encourage kids to get more Halloween candy, correct?
Correct.
All because Roseanne Barr said fat people ought to be gassed.
Absolutely right. If she wants to play in the big league, she wants to play in the Super Bowl, then she better bring a pretty big ball. And we are not only repudiating what she said, but we are very enthusiastically getting up a few ships for Halloween candy. And I've got some caramel stuff for Halloween candy.
Well, if you're going to eat caramel in the middle of an interview, man, you know...
I understand that.
Okay, so the first step is kids should wear a costume that's easy to alter so they can make a quick change and then walk back up to the front door of a house where you just made a haul.
That is correct, and that is a time-worn and time-proven. Also, number 2, motorized scooters get you to the most amount of houses in the shortest amount of time. And, Phil, this is so very true. You see the GoPeds. And for young people to use the GoPed during Halloween, I think is revolutionary. You can get from house to house to house in much more quicker time. And
Can I just jump in here and ask you how you feel about encouraging kids to eat more candy simply because you got a problem with Roseanne Barr and her losing weight?
No, I do not. We encourage children to enjoy food, and Halloween is a great time for children. We encourage them to enjoy candy. I don't care how much weight Roseanne Barr loses.
Will you please swallow? Please swallow what you got in your mouth.
I don't care how much weight Roseanne Barr loses. We encourage children to enjoy Halloween this time of year. And
yeah, well, you've got this forced out. Okay, number 2 is motorized scooters get you to the most amount of houses in the shortest amount of time. What is number 3 then?
Number 3 is stand on the front porch of the house that you've just visited until you get the amount of, or type of candy that you want. Halloween comes once a year. This is your time to strike. What we tell young people is you make adults nervous if you continue to stand there with your bag open after they've put in the Rice Krispies ball or after they've put in the peanut butter cookie or whatever it is. Keep ringing the bell until they give you what you want and desire. If they close the door, ring the bell again.
So you're encouraging kids to harass people?
No, I'm encouraging children to get that little extra added piece of candy. Number 4, have unloading stations set up. This is very important, where you dump your bag into a locked suitcase.
All right, I'm going to interrupt you here right now, okay? You are encouraging kids to go house to house to eat a whole bunch of candy because Roseanne Barr said fat people ought to be gassed. Isn't that right?
We would be doing this anyway, Phil.
But you wouldn't be starting it now in late September, would you?
The fact of the matter is she did upset me a little bit. But
okay, so she upset you a little bit. So you got the kids now in the late part of September making sure they got unloading stations and making sure that they get up to the house and get as much candy as they possibly can because she thinks fat people ought to be put into concentration camps and gassed.
Well, I find it very unusual that Roseanne Barr has said that fat people should be gassed only after she lost her weight. You know, if we could make this retroactive, then maybe I'd be with her on this. If we could go back about 6 months and gas Roseanne Barr. And
well, maybe she is self-hating. I don't know. But that's the reason why you're encouraging kids to eat more candy. Having an unloading station set up where you dump your bag into a locked suitcase and then you start out with a fresh, empty bag.
That is correct. These are ways in which children can enjoy Halloween and enjoy it without feeling guilty because Roseanne Barr doesn't like being fat. And Roseanne Barr thinks she looks good in Gear magazine. She still looks like a tub of guts to me. And the magazine, as far as I'm concerned, has manipulated her badly. And, you know, I can tell you, Roseanne, if you really think you're skinny, you know.
Swallow your caramel.
If you really think you're skinny, you're not.
All right. There's the 4 steps. Good luck to Fat Pride, okay?
Well, we'll do everything that we can.
Yeah, hold on. 1-800-449-8686. That's Roland Schwinn from Fat Pride with his 4 steps to getting kids to get more candy. The only reason why they're doing this is because the Fat Pride has been upset with this comment made by Roseanne Barr in Gear magazine that fat people should be put in concentration camps. Fat Pride has always said they have every right in the world to eat as much as they want. And now, in late September, they're telling kids to wear 2, 3, 4 different costumes so you can hit the